bum, bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boo-doo-doo. All right, let me get situated. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boo-doo-doo. All right, let me get situated. Hopefully we'll get. All right, let me get situated. Hopefully we'll get some up. Otherwise, it'll be a little frustrating. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Hey, Luna, what's going on? Hey, hippie. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Hey, Luna, what's going on? Hey, hippie. Arsh, I don't think that was a great choice. What was a great choice? Hey, hippie. Arsh, I don't think that was a great choice. What was a great choice? So we'll see whether or not we're able to get any opposition in order to be able to debate. Hopefully someone will be able to join. Hopefully some people will be able to, I don't know, generate some people who want to come in order to talk about the topic. Fingers crossed. I don't know, generate some people who want to come in order to talk about the topic. Fingers crossed we'll be able to get a debate going. If not, we'll turn it into... We need to be able to have like a backdrop for when we're just doing like blah lives, where we're just like shooting the shit, because it's frustrating the lack of just doing like blah lives, where we're just like shooting the shit, because it's frustrating the lack of blah lives. It's frustrating the lack. He'll be free a little bit earlier than that. All right, so we'll see whether or not. I feel like a lot of the problems why I'm not getting op is that I'm noticing that when we look at the statistics for the lives, I feel like a lot of the problems why I'm not getting op is that I'm noticing that when we look at the statistics for the lives, the stats keep on showing that I don't seem to get any traffic from FYP whatsoever. Statistics for the lives, the stats keep on showing that I don't seem to get any traffic from FYP whatsoever. You were getting ops with the all men till no men background? Whatsoever. You were getting ops with the all men till no men background? Was I? What op did I get with it's all men till it's no men? I don't remember getting any traffic on that, to be honest with you. Was I? What op did I get with it's all men till it's no men? I don't remember getting any traffic on that, to be honest with you. I feel like that background... I don't remember getting any traffic on that, to be honest with you. I feel like that background, it's all men till it's no men. I don't remember having a debate with anyone on that topic. Apparently you get back on the FYP if you get 50k likes, to be honest with you. Oh, well, Boss Lady, it's timing. So it's, when you say 200 people, it's Friday night. Boss Lady, you go live enough to know there's cycles to the debate lives. And at least for the people who watch our lives, it's Friday night. Boss Lady, you go live enough to know there's cycles to the debate lives. And at least for the people who watch our lives, Fridays are literally the worst night, by far the worst night. Fridays are you just nobody joins. Like everyone's usually going out doing stuff, understandably so. And so there is ordinarily just a dearth of people. And so when you're saying 200 people, I could maybe get 200 people when we're doing a live at like 8 p.m. Eastern or something, but not at after 1 a.m. on a Friday. People. I could maybe get 200 people when we're doing a live at like 8 p.m. Eastern or something, but not at after 1 a.m. on a Friday. Like I'm not saying other people can't, but like I know that like my demos will cap out somewhere between 50 and 100 on a Friday night. I'm not saying other people can't, but like I know that like my demos will cap out somewhere between 50 and 100 on a Friday night. So it totally depends on the type of live timing, the timing of live, if that makes sense. So I don't know if it's because of the topic that you type of live timing, the timing of live, if that makes sense. So I don't know if it's because of the topic that you got that many people, to be honest with you. But if we don't get anything with this, I mean, Mac will be able to go live in about 15 minutes. So if Mac goes live again, hey Marley, what's going on? So if Mac goes live again, you were live this morning and I needed coffee before you even considered joining. Yeah, I don't think I slept. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't think I slept at all, which is fine. I'm not feeling tired at all, but that is kind of crazy now that you remind me of it. Slept. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't think I slept at all, which is fine. I'm not feeling tired at all, but that is kind of crazy now that you remind me of it. So I think I'll be, if we're not able to get up for the next 15 minutes, then we know we'll get up. Kind of crazy now that you remind me of it. So I think I'll be, if we're not able to get up for the next 15 minutes, then we know we'll get up once Mac joins. Do you think I should flip to it's all men till it's no men for those 15 minutes? Up once Mac joins. Do you think I should flip to it's all men till it's no men for those 15 minutes? Bestie Irish? Marley, we're at bestie level? I'm honored for those 15 minutes. Bestie Irish? Marley, we're at bestie level? I'm honored. Bestie Irish? All right, that should be a better VPN. Let's see if that does anything.
Hello.
Bestie? I feel like you're
Hold on.
overselling it.
Wait. I cannot talk for very long. No, I'm
Okay,
probably.
shoot.
Wait. No. No, I love you.
Overselling it.
Wait. I cannot talk for very long. No, I'm
Okay,
probably.
shoot.
Wait. No. No, I love you. First of all. Second of all, I'm totally fucking like washed right now. Um, but you are totally a bestie for sure. Like,
I think you've been watched maybe influencing what you're saying right now. I'm not going to lie.
bestie for sure. Like,
I think you've been watched maybe influencing what you're saying right now. I'm not going to lie.
no, you're a bestie for sure. I've known you for
I,
like ever.
I feel like I got your back. There's no question about that. I definitely have your back. I feel like I got your back. There's no question about that. I definitely have your back.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, but I'm
So
gonna
wait,
drop.
you're
Wait,
yeah,
what?
all right. All the best. I appreciate the validation.
Wait,
I'll
no,
talk
what
to
were
you
you gonna
later.
say? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, are you out? It sounds like yeah.
What?
All right. All the best. I appreciate the validation.
Wait,
I'll
no, what
talk
were
to you
you gonna
later.
say? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, are you out? It sounds like there's background people.
Yeah, I'm walking home right now.
Good night out.
Yeah, fantastic.
Sounds like it. I'm jealous.
Okay, all right, I'll
All
chat
right.
you.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
I'll take that. Hey Brussels, I'm just doing this until Mac's able to go live. I'm just doing this until Mac's able to go live in like 15 minutes. So I don't know if we're gonna get op or not.
Fair.
Also, I saw you guys playing Paper IO recently. I was not Yuma. I don't know what Paper IO is. I assume it's a Discord game.
What is Paper IO?
Yeah, I
I'm
never heard of
finishing
that one.
red waving duties and I'm going to bed, I
You're
think.
finishing your what duties?
Trad wife duties.
Which include what?
cleaning the carpets and the floors and the counters and washing the bedding and remaking the bed and scrubbing the bathroom.
Got it. That sounds horrible to be doing on a Friday. I'm not gonna lie.
Normally I do it on
I think I'd much prefer to be in Marley's situation.
Normally I do it on Wednesdays, but on Wednesday I built the bar cart. So yes,
Oh, are we gonna see the bar cart?
oh, I can show you. It's almost done. I didn't quite finish it. I was waiting for Yams, and then he was mostly asleep. There he
Yeah, I
is.
would love to see. Yeah, definitely show. So invest. A very quick topic. It's not really a topic to debate, in my opinion. It's more so an explanation of a stance. The "it's all men until it's no men" has like various meanings to a lot of people, but like one of the more common ones is the realization that from a woman's perspective that when you're trying to move through society, understanding the harm that men and the violence that men can enact on you, it can be a scary situation that requires them to treat all men with caution because there's no way for them to reliably determine who are quote unquote the good men versus the bad men. So it's all men until it's no men is just sort of another way of communicating
Irish, you've
the.
been doing this for 4 years.
No, I've not, but you can
You
just
ever
wait a
get sick
moment.
of talking
You can just wait a moment.
shit?
I'm getting sick of you interrupting.
Yes.
No, I
So
mean that
invest
stance totally makes sense.
the way that I think about it is sort of I think that like as a man personally, like when I move through society, I'm not scared at all. Like I don't worry about getting beat up. I don't worry
Correct.
about getting raped. But the way I think about it is I think women are generally trying to communicate that being a woman in society is sort of similar to being a man in jail. Because could you imagine spending your life in jail? The chances of you being raped are lower in jail than it is for a woman in regular society. But I guarantee I'm going to treat every prisoner as though there's someone who could hurt me. And I think that's sort of the thing that they're trying to impress on men.
You ever get tired of talking the same
You can just wait a moment.
old sh-
So the other way of looking at it is it's all men till it's no men is that grape is part of sort of a continuum of harm. And that's sort of the idea of grape culture pyramid, where there's a lot of behaviors and normalizations that support and encourage grape, all the way down to catcalling and movies that make fun of grape. And like in the 1990s, there was a shit ton of movies that laughed about grape. Like it was kind of fucking crazy looking back on all of
And
those movies.
Come
And
on.
sure, American Pie, there was two grapes in American Pie.
Dude,
And so it's kind of I think the that other way of looking at it's all men till it's no men is that all men contribute to the grape culture by normalizing or allowing those lesser behaviors which amplify and effectively become dangerous on a larger level.
prove
Does that
it.
make sense?
okay, you had me until the end there. So you're gonna have to elaborate that on that a little bit. So
Sure.
uh, repeat like the last three sentences. I just totally blanked. Repeat the last three sentences you just said because I disagreed with something there.
Sure. So you recognize that grape is something that can be normalized or even encouraged by societal and social norms, even though we would say as a society that grape is wrong and harmful, right? There's a number of things that would suggest that we don't consider it as harmful as we seem to suggest. So, for example, I think everyone would say if you're a rapist in America, that's a bad thing. And yet we just elected a man who has 25 allegations and one civil judgment against him for rape. And so there seems to be a contradiction between the behaviors of people in society and their statements. The statements are we hate rapists, but the behaviors are is that we seem to normalize and tolerate people who are accused of rape pretty readily. And so I think the idea behind it's all men until it's no men, one of the other interpretations is that all men contribute to these sort of behaviors that normalize grape to take place or for grape culture to proliferate.
Okay, that was a lot to digest. You said a lot there. Um,
I'm loquacious. I apologize. Go
no,
on.
no, no problem, no problem. It's better to have more information than less. So I don't believe all men contribute to it at all. I don't want to get onto the topic about Trump because I mean that's kind of just like a slippery slope.
Irish, are we supposed to be talking about grape culture and all men till it's no men?
Yeah.
I mean,
So I
he came
don't
up. I
believe that all
invited him
men
up, to be fair.
contribute to it. Is my stance. Like I do not believe all men contribute to it.
You don't think all
So
men
do you?
contribute to grape culture?
Absolutely not.
Why?
I mean, how could all men like?
What
I
is the def?
Culture. And pretty much all men do that, so.
It's also the minimization of those behaviors. So when you immediately say you don't want to talk about Trump, I mean, that's sort of, and I'm not coming at you, but that's sort of dismissiveness where you're like, well, let's not talk about that. Well, the majority of men who voted in America voted for someone where there's credible evidence that they're a rapist. Men who voted in America. And so, like, why would you dismiss that as if, like, it's not something that's worth examining? So, like, even that dismissiveness is not something that's worth, this is contributing in a way.
And then from the normalization, there's also the bystander effect. Like when people get essayed in public, there tends to be the bystander effect of someone else will do something, or I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know if that person's actually comfortable with that. You know, I don't know if I'd be interfering in a situation where it's actually just fine. So I'm just going to leave it. Right. Like, and that's also a problem that comes from the normalization from grape culture.
Okay, Invest, are you back?
I've been here the whole time. I just wanted to read the definition.
Yeah, the normalization or trivialization of sexual violence.
Okay, like I don't want y'all to take this the wrong way, and it's kind of offensive to myself, but it's very evident that like you guys are like trained for this stuff. Like I said, I'm a normal.
I would prefer if you didn't refer to me as trained. How about educated?
Like trained for this stuff. Like I said, yeah,
I'm not
that's
a
kind
dog,
of dang.
Bessie.
You're getting pretty defensive over nothing. But you guys have a good day. I mean, I'm not. I stepped into something that I was not prepared for at all, and I'm totally fine.
Would you be
hang
willing
on.
to
It's
actually have a
okay.
conversation with me? And I'm trying to influence.
Not with your tone. You have a good day though.
Wow. Yikes.
That was quick. Not Neuro, sorry. Invest. If you'd like to come back at another point, feel free. I'll give you a follow. Because if you want to be able to understand some of these terms and where people are coming from, I'd be happy to do that. Give you a follow, because if you'd like. So I'll give you.
Fucking trained is wild. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he was aware of how bad that sounded.
Also, happy Black History Month.
He was aware of how bad that sounded.
Also, happy Black History Month, everybody.
What? No, I think
Qualified,
you.
bro. I said educated. You said trained.
What? No, I think
Qualified,
you.
bro. I said educated. You said trained. I'm not a dog.
Off the topic, like what is this?
Yeah, Neuro, I think you are friendly, right?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't give my age. I'm 20.
Okay.
Just for TikTok and that.
Trained is nice.
Yeah, no, it's in your bio. But you're friendly, right?
It's 100%.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll keep you up for a little bit. Janaya, what's your take on the topic, or what's your take on the conversation
Okay,
just
for
happened?
one, okay, hold on.
Sure, shoot.
One, I'm 18. My name is Janaya. She, her.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I would be very happy for you to join. It's 19 plus is in the rules when you join on the live. I'm sorry about that. If you'd like to share, feel free to do it in the comments. But I just have a rule for 19 plus on the live. Sorry about that. I always feel bad about that in the sense that, like, there's not necessarily intrinsic harm, and I'd be fine like if I don't know, someone else was talking to an 18-year-old. I just don't. I don't know. I feel very torn on that. Like I
Is it
I feel like
Tamara? Is my tone off, guys? Does it sound aggressive?
It's not. That's
Never
why I'm
adjust
like,
your tone for a man.
I
Fuck that.
did feel a little bit sarcastic, but
Like, not. Listen, I got 1 hour before I could say happy BLM. Oh my god.
What?
It's
Oh, you're Cali
BHM.
or West Coast.
No, West Coast.
Tamara, what's your take?
Um, so I feel like I've only been in here for about 10, maybe 15 minutes, maybe not even that long. So I've just listened slightly. My take on this is I think some areas have gone too far. So, and not just in this part of it, but in all aspects of where the law applies to men and women relationships.
Can you be a
And
bit more specific?
okay, so for instance, the area that I live in, you can go at any time and make a claim. You have to have zero evidence whatsoever. And then it's up to the other person to defend themselves, with cost a ba- base minimum of about 10 grand. And
About what?
I'm sorry,
Claim about what?
um,
Essay, DV. No.
both.
Okay, so let's just talk about essay for the sake of this conversation to keep it
Okay,
kind of.
so
I already
essentially,
have. Sorry, Tamara. I already have like one clarifying question for you.
okay, sure,
Are you talking about in a civil system or in like a criminal court system?
criminal.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
So the area that I live in has become so believe everything, where I've literally seen cases where people have extorted people in their reports and none of their facts made sense. And I've seen them literally go through horrible situations. In the end, like costing sometimes like 25,000 up to get out of this. And in the end, to be proven innocent.
Tamara, you said something that was just like a little bit inconsistent. You were saying that in your area, if anyone comes forward, they're automatically believed. But on the flip side, you kind of are saying that you didn't believe those people, right?
No, no,
And
no, 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 no,
so,
no. I will never say that I don't believe them. But I do have a
but you said they
problem
were extorted.
when in your initial report, there's literally, can I drop the suit if they give me X amount of dollars?
I mean, how would you know that's what they say?
Do you have an issue? So I'm gonna
It's
ask.
public record.
Sorry, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
When celebrities grape like women,
Hmm.
do you have an issue when rather than going to prison, they pay their victims money?
I think that is horrible.
Okay,
I
just
think that is horrible. I think they should serve for the crime they committed.
okay. Do you think that like time
And
served?
I think restitution is appropriate. I do.
Okay.
But that's once somebody has been tried and convicted.
Right. So
But I think extortion and an opening statement
do you know
is
what
a big red
happens
flag.
when someone files a police report?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So, like off rip, a lot of police reports aren't necessarily taken seriously. There's still due process.
I but that's what I'm saying. In my county, literally, when you call like any, because I've literally researched this, because there are meetings going on with judges and they're with attorneys and everything, because it's become such an issue, because there are so many reports now because of they I don't know the exact law, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I do. But whatever it is, the law they quote, essentially you have to have no evidence, and it's up to the person being reported to
I mean,
defend themselves.
What
Tamara,
state are you in?
I'm in Michigan.
okay, Tamara, the problem with you saying no evidence, I want to be super clear. A person who says, I was raped, and then
Hmm.
says, I know the name of the person who did it because I saw them do it to me, that
Hmm.
is evidence. I don't
Okay,
know if you understand
but
that, but it's sort of
no,
like
I
similar that
understand that.
if I'm mugged on the street and I go to a cop and I say that that man tried to rob me, and then I point and identify, that's
Hmm.
evidence. And that's often enough to convict a person. So when you're saying there was no evidence, you understand that there's no such thing as no evidence. Once you have an accuser, that is evidence.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. It's a known, like the public officials are talking about it in our county, law officials, like lawyers, judges,
Men.
like it's become a real problem. It's
I mean,
because
how do
of
you
that
know? What do
fact.
you mean it's a real problem? I guarantee your
Because
state. I guarantee whatever state. What state did you say you're in?
state, I live in Michigan.
Okay, I
I'll tell you
guarantee
what
there hasn't
county I
been.
live in.
I
I
guarantee
have no
there hasn't
problem.
been. I guarantee there hasn't been an epidemic of men who have been going to jail in the past 10 years based upon people making allegations without supportive evidence.
Tamara, do you understand that in the USA, the entirety of the USA, only 2 to 8% of allegations are false?
I do understand that.
Where are you
What
pulling
I'm
that data
saying,
from?
I can give you the source. It would be www.thehaven.co.uk. They are a grape clinic. You can look
um,
that up now if you want.
.uk
so I guess
for stats for the US.
Yes.
Jamal, there's if you look, or Jamel, is it Jamel?
Yes, Jamal.
So in the U.S., it's 2 to 10%. That 2 to 10% is based on a longitudinal study that looks at multiple. It's a survey study, pardon me, that looks at multiple studies that have been done on the topic, and it shows that the range of studies is between 2 to 10%, but the mean of those studies is about 5%. So if you put in right now false allegations U.S. 2 to 10%, it will bring up a study that cites numerous studies, all of which fall within the 2 to 10% range.
What I'm asking is what makes it deemed false to get to that
So
number.
each of those studies has a different way of specifying, because each of the studies looks at false allegations from different standpoints. So, for example, false allegations as reported to the police and determined by the police to not have any credibility. False allegations that are brought to a prosecutor, where the prosecutor makes a determination that there's no credibility. It also includes some surveys that look at where there's demonstrable evidence that it was determined to be false. Those numbers are usually discarded because the number is so small. And then it also looks at employment discrimination cases where people claim to have been wrongly fired due to false allegations. So each of the studies looks at different areas in which you can be falsely accused. So there's different criteria for each of them.
And that's false allegations for a variety of criminal allegations, right?
No, essay only, limited to essay. We're only talking about essay.
It's very interesting.
So, Tamara, you
I
seem to
guess
know a
my
lot
thing,
about these cases going on in Michigan. Can I just ask,
I
are
do.
you connected to the court? Like, why do you know this? Or
So
where are you
well,
getting
I'll
your
be
information
honest.
from?
Well, I'll be honest with you. So somebody very close to me actually went through an allegation,
But that's
and
one
it did
person.
cost. Okay,
You
but
said it's an
let
epidemic.
me. Can I finish,
No,
please?
no, sorry, Tamara. I'm happy for you to explain that specific situation. Sorry, I just want to be
No, no,
clear.
no,
My
no,
question
no, no. I
is,
wasn't going to tell you.
where did you get the information that this is an epidemic in
So
your state?
be because of what he was going through and the evidence that was put forth, that I was able to see that it was absolutely mind-boggling, that honestly it was the officer actually testified, okay, in this case
The who?
on the stand, the officer that took the
Okay.
report, that he did not even fill out the form properly because he thought for sure it would not be charged by the prosecutor. There, so, and also I had a friend who
I'm
was
so
on a
sorry.
lot. Wait, just one
But
second,
but
let me
but
finish.
but that doesn't mean it's
I also had
false.
a
You
friend that
understand
was
that?
unalived. So I've been sitting through a
Well,
lot of court.
but let's focus on that
So I've been
specific
sitting through a
case.
lot of court. So I started investigating because I kept seeing it repeatedly,
Okay, so
repeatedly.
let's talk about your friend's case. In a
Okay, sure.
situation where someone comes forward and says, the police officer says, I didn't think the prosecutor would prosecute, that's not in any way evidence of whether or not it happened or not. If anything, that shows a bias that the police officer was implanting to the prosecutor by giving incomplete evidence and making her case weaker.
because he thought she was lying. That's so fucking
Right,
unethical.
right.
Can
That
I
So,
can I
happens a
ask a
you're
lot.
right.
question?
The police
Well, I do want
investigation
to
was
explore this
horrible,
a
which
bit,
led to this. I
Jamel.
agree, 100%,
Well, you don't because
100%.
you
I
think it was
agree.
fake. No, but you agree with the
No,
officer
no, no,
because you
no,
think it
no,
was fake.
no. So in the end, she ended up saying that she lied, and it all came out.
When did
Um,
she say that?
um,
At the trial?
she no, she actually said it to the prosecutor. So it was
When?
actually dismissed in the name of justice.
Oh,
After
before the
he
trial.
passed, yeah, before it went to trial, because
Okay, but remember
he
you said that
actually
the officer
passed two
said during the
polygraphs.
trial polygraphs are
I'm
not
sorry.
admissible
Well,
as
so
evidence in a court of law,
they're not, but they use them as bargaining chips between the prosecutor and the
but they're
defense
not
all the time.
admissible in a court of law. But also remember you said that
It
it
didn't
came
go to
out
trial, but
during
listen, because
remember
that's
no
a
no you said it
felony, you
did.
have to
You
go,
said it did. Tell
sir,
me people I want everyone in the
let
comment.
me explain to
Sorry,
you how,
Tamara, I'm not fighting
can I
with
please
you.
explain to you something?
Hang on. Let me just ask people in
And
the
you have
comments
to
if I
go through county
misheard.
court.
Let me
So
just
it has
ask
to,
the people in the comments if I misheard. I heard you say that at trial, the officer testified that he didn't even fill it out because he didn't think. I heard you say at trial that happened.
can I explain to you why?
Sure. Did you say
Because
that?
it has to,
That
I did say that.
Okay. Can
no,
you
that
Because
explain
wasn't
that to
it
me?
gets
exactly what was
charged,
said.
it's a felony. It has to go to county
Tamara,
court first.
Tamara, you said he didn't fill it out properly.
No,
That
and
was what you said.
I
So
did.
essentially, you said
I
that
did.
this officer did a half-assed job and then went to
Wait.
trial
No, he's
Yeah, but
asking me
she
and
about the
said,
trial.
said,
Let me
no, no,
explain the
no,
trial,
because that's what you
please.
yeah,
said.
say, yeah, we're
I
That's
talking
what you
on the
Can I
said.
trial.
explain? Can I explain
Yeah,
to you?
yeah,
Okay.
explain that, please.
So because it's a felony in my county, you have to go to county court first. Okay. You get arraigned. And then there's a probable cause hearing to see if it's enough to get charged up to circuit court.
They wouldn't have
The
interviewed the
oh
officer at the probable cause hearing.
yes, they 100% did. They only the prosecution can call people up because they have to prove enough case to have it bound over to
I
the
know
circuit court.
that's why what
There
you
were two
just
people that
said.
were called to there were two
Hang
people
on,
that were
Tamara,
called to
hear
the
me out. Hear
stand.
me out. Tamara, hear me out. That's why what you're saying wouldn't have happened because the prosecutor would have interviewed the police officer. And if the prosecutor was deciding to move forward with the charges, then they would only present evidence that is helpful to the charges. They would not present evidence that is not helpful to the charges. So there's
The
no
defense
planet.
attorney gets to cross examine. They cannot put up witnesses, but they get to cross examine the witnesses.
Ma'am, you're missing a step and the host is correct.
No, not.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
saying you are because I am in the
yeah.
field. The host is correct and you're missing a step.
What step am I missing?
Can I ask one question before we
Well,
continue?
No.
Okay,
I
go
want to
ahead,
know what
Bethel.
step I'm missing.
This woman that filed this police report,
Hmm.
um, I feel like she needs to sue that police officer. You should consider
He
that.
actually got fired from his job.
No, fuck, thank God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'll still sue his ass.
Tamara, can I ask you a question?
absolutely.
Right, so you understand what coercion is, right?
100%.
Okay, so do you understand that in these situations, a lot of victims will get coerced into saying that they lied to not have to relive it, to not have to be accused of lying repeatedly, to not have their name dragged through the mud, to not have all of these things happen to them and then go to court and 97% of the time the perp doesn't even get put away, right? You understand that these people are likely to be coerced into saying that they lied.
Okay. So I guess all I can say is like in this particular case, there was so much evidence that proved to the contrary because of the story that was told that the prosecutor agreed to have a polygraph. And the detective who did the polygraph literally took 3 weeks to write his report because of it was so, in his opinion, absurd that it had
They
gotten
gave
that
the
far.
victim a polygraph?
Excuse me? Yes, they did give him a polygraph. He passed two.
The victim. Who did they
I'm
give a
sorry?
who did they give a polygraph to? The victim? I'm asking you to clarify.
No, the defendant. The victim was offered one, she declined.
because victims don't have to take polygraph tests. But
But they asked me who took one, so I was just saying.
yeah, you're still talking to me.
But they asked me who took one.
You are you aware that polygraph tests are just an investigative tool?
Absolutely, 100%. They're not admissible in court. But
So
there was a reason
people,
why
so I
that.
just, so men who grape women that don't view their actions as like necessarily wrong or they feel extremely entitled will have cognitive dissonance that allows them to pass polygraphs. Same with if they've consumed alcohol. Like they're not a good gauge of whether or not the person committed a crime.
There's a long running joke amongst the FBI that says they only hire people that are smart enough to pass a polygraph. The joke is that it's not hard to pass one.
No, I get the joke. I guess my point on that was that the detective actually took the time to research it so much instead of just giving the results. It was a 30-year veteran detective and actually went through and investigated the case, which it was never done properly
30
from the
year
beginning.
30-year veteran, so he was about to retire.
He was
Well,
actually a
let's
100%.
talk about it.
It was one
So
of his last cases, actually.
okay, so Tamara, let's talk about it. Okay,
Fucking
because
wonder
I
why,
think
bro. Corrupt ass cop. Sorry.
yeah. So what you're it wasn't the probable cause conference that you're talking about at all, where it took place. Um, but I think what you're probably talking about is the preliminary
You're right. You're right. You're 100% right. You are
examination.
one.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was the prelim exam. You're
Okay.
100% right.
So in the prelim exam, you're allowed to cross-examine, right? But I want to
Yep.
understand why the opinion of the officer would have been relevant, because the prosecutor would have objected because it's not relevant what the opinion of the officer would be.
Well, they asked her state of mind and the
The officer's state of mind?
statements. No, the victims at the time when she came in and reported it, and they asked about because they played the body cam of it when she made the report, and um,
They
they were
played a body
asking.
cam. Hang on. They played
They
a body
did.
cam at a
They
preliminary.
did. They 100%
I
did.
mean, I think this is kind of insane.
That's what I'm
Preliminary
saying, telling you. In
examination,
in
but a
my county,
preliminary
like it's been
examination requires.
insane.
Hang on. Why would the prosecutor put forward the cam?
I have
Because
no idea.
in the case of a preliminary examination, the defense does not get an opportunity to bring witnesses, right?
Right. That you're absolutely right.
Why would the prosecutor show the body cam? What would that show?
I don't know why. I have no
But you
idea.
understand that's why it doesn't sound.
I wondered the same thing. I wondered the same thing. 100% wondered the exact same thing.
I mean, it doesn't sound
I
credible.
absolutely did.
I know what I'm saying is you don't sound credible, and so I'm trying to
Oh,
really understand
I,
like what could possibly make.
I will happily privately send you the case number. I will give you the county I live in. It will be obvious.
Okay,
I
and
don't care.
so the
So if you
preliminary
want to, I will be happy to I will privately send it to you.
okay,
So you can look it up.
so it got past the preliminary, right? The judge
Hmm.
approved for it to go to trial, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and when is it the woman then recanted and said I lied?
Um, right. So right after he took a polygraph and they offered if she wanted to take one, and then she recanted shortly after that.
How did she recant? What was the form of the
Um,
recanting?
through her victim's advocate and the prosecutor,
Okay, what did
who were
she say
both
exactly? Did she say I lied or I withdraw the case?
um she said that it was more consensual than she had first admitted to.
Okay, can you
And there
explain
was
to me
more to the
why?
story that her feelings were hurt, that she
Okay,
thought it was more.
so
And
First question, why would she confess to a crime, perjury, or submitting a false report and or making a false statement to a government official? Why would she
because in our
admit to
county you
that?
can't be prosecuted for that.
Of course you can.
Not for that. For that, no, they will not in our county.
Okay,
It's
hang
I
on. Now
promise
you
you
could
they
tell
will
me.
not.
I mean, if you're okay, you're definitely wrong. What is the county you're in?
It's Washtenaw County.
Wash what?
Washtenaw County. It's where University of Michigan is.
How do you spell it? Wash what?
Washthenaw.
Tenaw, Washtenaw.
Yep.
Okay, county.
Um,
And what you're saying is there's no crime for filing a false police report?
I'm telling you that they will not file one on a woman, or I'm sorry, not a woman,
So
a
hang on. So
victim.
they
So
so it
no,
does
for a
exist.
victim,
So it
for
does
a
exist.
victim, it
So
does.
it does exist.
So
Okay. So
they
my question
refuse to do
again.
it though
So
because
hang
they
on.
say it deters people from coming forward. So they will not do
Tamara,
it.
my question is why would the victim admit to committing a crime when she could have simply said, I no longer want to cooperate with the prosecution? It achieves the exact same thing.
I
can
don't
Why
can
know.
I
would she do
just
that?
wait? Can I just point something out, Tamara? You said that she admitted that it was more consensual than she first said.
Well,
More
hang on. I'm going to
consensual.
get to that. I'm going to get to that point. Sorry.
Yes, that's
Okay.
what she
But
said.
can you
I just
Yes,
explain?
that's
like
what she
Can you
said.
wanted
explain why
to.
do you think she confessed to a crime when she didn't have to? You know, if a victim says they don't want to cooperate with the prosecution, given the fact that they're the primary evidence, you know that the prosecutor would drop the case. Correct?
Actually, they wouldn't. They
How
actually,
can they
because
prosecute without a victim?
I understand what you're saying. They kept harassing her. At one point, she did stop
No, no, you didn't
cooperating.
hear what I
And
said. A person who's a victim, in order to
mhm,
stop the prosecution of their rapist, all they
mhm,
have to do in the situation you described is to simply
mhm.
state, I don't want to further cooperate with this proceeding.
She did.
And if they do that, the prosecutor can't move forward
Well,
because now you
they
no longer
did.
have evidence. No, 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 they didn't.
They kept after her.
You're not
I've
listening to
seen
what
the
I'm saying.
messages. I've heard the messages.
Why would she admit to a crime when she didn't have to, is what I'm asking you.
There, I don't know. None of it makes sense. That's what I'm telling you. That
Okay,
like
so
there are
I would
weird
agree.
things
It doesn't
going on
make
in this
sense,
county.
which is
That's
no,
what I'm
no,
telling you. There
not
are
in the
very weird things
not in
going.
this county, Tamara, not in this county, in her mind. I'm asking you why she, the purported victim, why would she tell the victim's advocate, I'm
You
a
know what, you guys,
liar?
that's just being rude. Like, because I wouldn't make this
What's
up. Like, I
rude?
literally told you, no, the people are what they're saying in the comments, because that's absolutely rude saying things like that. I did not do anything wrong. If I was
Don't
lying
look
about it,
at
I
the
wouldn't tell you where
comments.
I
Tamara,
lived.
great, comments are
So, you
off.
know what?
Tamara, hang
I
on,
wouldn't tell you where I
hang
lived.
on. My next question, Tamara, my next question is, Um, how did you learn what she told the victim's advocate? Because what she told the victim's advocate would have been relayed to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor would have simply dismissed. They wouldn't have told the perp that she admitted to lying. They wouldn't have
They
done that.
didn't. It was actually brought up because in a different case, because the police officer was fired,
What other case was it brought up where it came out
where he
that the
was
woman admitted
dismissed.
to lying? Why
The
would that
Where
have
he
come
would
up there?
when the case because the union fought against for him getting his job, and so there was a
Okay.
case and it was brought up during that.
Why was it relevant is what I'm asking you.
I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. I completely agree. It sounds insane, but
Wait.
it's
No, no, no.
happening.
Stop. Did you see that case and that's where you learned it? Or did the accused
Yes,
rapist
I
tell you
sat.
this?
Yes, no, I
So
sat in the
you
courtroom.
attended the hearing. Hang on. So
Yes, I did.
you're telling me the police officers' appeal in order to keep their job was a public hearing and that you
No,
sat in
those
on that.
records. No, no. Those records I FOIA'd.
Okay, and when you FOIA'd them, you're saying that there was a record stating that the victim said she lied.
Yes,
Why on earth would that have been relevant to the
I
police
don't
officer?
know. I really do not
Okay,
know.
doesn't sound believable. Again,
I agree. I
I
100%
have a
agree with you.
question. The officer that you said that they ended up getting
Mhm.
fired, is that the 30-year detective?
No, it was not. It was the officer who took the initial report.
Was that all that officer's involvement was the original call and just sending the report up?
Um, testimony.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand
we didn't hear
And
you. Yeah, you.
and their testimony during the prelim exam.
Did they commit
So
perjury?
that was their involvement.
When they went to court, did they commit perjury?
It's yeah. There was some really back. This whole thing from there was some really start to finish was
No, I'm asking. They were
so
officially. It was they committed perjury,
yes, they did.
and that is what they were fired for.
What did
Officially,
they commit
yes.
perjury? What was the perjury?
On the police report.
What? You said they didn't fill out something, so what is it that they
They didn't
lied
tell
about?
a lot of things, and when then it started
That's not
getting
perjury.
questioned, well, when it started getting questioned, he went back and changed his report, edited it. We already had copies of the report, so he testified to the second one, but we knew the first one was correct. We had evidence that the first one was correct.
Okay, what did he change?
Trying to contact the defendant, some of the victim's statement, there was quite a few things.
By any chance, was there like news articles about this case?
There probably will be very soon. The attorney's actually publishing a paper on it.
Oh, this case was
Which
recent.
which
It
attorney?
was both actually, there's a couple of them together that worked on this case. A defense and prosecutor and a public defender actually.
So if you're telling me that you FOIA'd this, and it seems like you've been
Mhm.
following this right now, if I gave you an email address, you'd be able to send me the document that says that she admitted to lying?
Yeah, I actually could.
Okay, would you mind doing that? Like, we'll happily wait.
Oh, right the second? I can't send it
Yeah.
to you right the second. No, I absolutely can't send it to you right the second. I'm not at my office, so, but
Well, I
I
mean,
could absolutely.
it's not a piece of paper. Like, it's an electronic record you have.
Yeah, my computer and my everything I have is at my office. I
You have a
take care of
phone.
my aunt who has dementia, so I don't have those things with me.
Your aunt with dementia is not really relevant. What I'm saying is,
No, so that's why I'm not at home where my office and my computer are.
it's not something that you have on your email.
Um, Maybe on my phone somewhere I may have. I'm not 100%
I mean,
sure. I don't think I would have downloaded it because it's a
you're telling
lot.
me
Like
you
it was
wouldn't
a
have forwarded this to the defendant when you found that?
no.
Because
Why would I have
the
done that?
defendant, well, think about it. You just told me that someone you know was falsely accused, that there was no evidence at trial that was submitted that suggested
No,
that she
I
admitted to.
actually have a
Hang on, let
paper
me just
copy
finish.
of it.
Let me just finish. That there was no evidence at trial saying that she had lied, right? She didn't admit to lying in the trial.
Wait
You
a minute.
didn't
No,
know
no, no.
she.
I actually don't have an email of it now that I think about it. When I
Hang on.
FOIA'd, no, I went and
Hang
picked it
on.
up.
Let me just finish. Tamara, let me just finish. The defendant didn't know that she admitted to lying. You said you only learned as a result of the police officer's case, right? And you're
Yes.
friends with the accused defendant, correct?
I've become friends with them since this case.
So
Yes.
surely you messaged that person via text or email, "Hey, I found this. I found this. I got this FOIA request finally fulfilled, and in it, it admits that she lied." You would have texted or emailed him at least, wouldn't you?
No, actually, you know what? You actually confused me because I started thinking, I'm like, do I have a digital copy? I actually don't because
I didn't ask if you have a digital. I didn't ask
I
if you have a
actually
digital
had to
copy.
go with you.
You're that close with him? I thought you said you only
Um,
recently became close.
yeah, I recently became close with him, but this case went on for a year and a
So why
half.
were you so invested in this case if you weren't already close with him?
Wait, really fast. I
Um,
just want to make a point that she in the beginning said she said that I could have sworn she said like a family member, but she said
no, it's
someone
not a family
like
member. I can assure you, it's not a family member.
okay, well you said that they were extremely close to you. Like you used those
They
specific
are
words.
now because I've been like invested in something that was very personal to them. The whole reason I was there was because a friend of mine was going through a murder trial, or it was murdered.
So
I was
Tamara,
going
can I
through
ask you
the
a
trial.
question?
Yes.
So after you got the information that states that they had
Hmm.
lied, would you say yes or no that you spoke to them after you got that information officially?
Spoke to the defendant or the victim.
The person that we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I would say 100% I called them. I would say 100% I probably called them.
Okay. Do you remember the method of communication?
I guess I 100% can't, but I would guess if I got that information, I probably would have opened it as soon as I walked out to my car and probably called them. I would have guessed.
Can I ask a blunt question?
Absolutely.
Sure.
I'm gonna be the blunt one in the corner.
That's okay.
Are you involved with this man romantically?
No,
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
I'm not.
that's what
want to check.
I mean. That's where I was going to delve in. Is why
Yeah,
did you
I was
become
just wondering.
emotionally invested in this situation that didn't
Because
involve
it
you?
just honestly watching it, so sitting through
Why were you
all
watching
these,
it?
like I said, I had a friend who was murdered, so I've been sitting through court now for 2 years, like constantly.
Okay, so stop. I understand you have a friend who was being murdered, and so you have been at trial.
Hmm.
However, like there's very set hearing dates and hearing times, and
Hmm.
there's a very low likelihood that when there has been a hearing as it pertains to a schmurder, there is a
Hmm.
likelihood that obviously there would be a follow on proceeding that could have exposed you to this specific issue, right? But when you came back again for another schmurder hearing, it's not likely that that same grape case would have been on the same timeline. So it's not by being in court
There were
for this schmurder
actually
hearing.
3 times because of the Schmurder case, they kept filing different things, trying to get him out on bond. So they were literally going back constantly for the first. We've
And you
probably
were sitting
been.
there in court the entire time, even when there was cases that had nothing to do with your schmurder case.
Well, yeah, because you never know what's going to get called.
Okay, so why did you start caring about this specific case?
Well, because
Why
I
did you
heard
start
it
caring
several
for?
times.
But why did you start caring for a potential rapist? Like, are you telling me this was a
No, no, no. It
stranger?
wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't about caring about that. It was being interested. Like the entire thing, it didn't make
But
sense to me.
but hang on. Let me just be clear.
Do you
Are you
understand? Like
telling
it
me that
didn't make
this was a
sense to me what was
stranger?
happening.
Are you telling me the alleged rapist is a stranger to you?
Absolutely. That's how absurd it was. It did not make sense. Like the
So you were there for
entire
the
thing.
preliminary hearing for that?
I was there the day actually he was arraigned.
Gotta stop
Crazy.
saying actually.
This is fucking wild to not believe victims so much to the point where you hear a cop that makes a fake ass report and you're like, damn.
No, 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 no. That's, I guess, my point. This is what I was trying to make my point of was that there are, I 100% believe there are, but there are also, like, I feel like just there should be more investigation instead of just believing because
But
some
Okay.
Tamara,
people do
I
get mad and
Tamara,
do.
you may be an outlier, but I'll tell you, like when it comes to like the criminal justice field and all of the professions that are in it, it's a profession that is bred with people that are extremely nosy. So to have the information that you have with the potential holes that there are in the story, it's just extremely interesting that you would have this information,
Sir, I
but
have done a
give the
lot of
state
community.
hold on, but give the statements that you do
Sir, I
because
have done a
I
lot
just
of
it makes
have
work.
lots of
to.
question because
I
what I'm
live
going to
in a
ask is
impoverished community.
Let's let
well
her
hold on.
respond. Let's let her respond to Jamel. I want Jamel to
I
finish
live
his
in a
thought.
Yeah,
impoverished
because
Sorry,
my
community.
question is like
Tamara. Just let
knowing
Jamel finish his thought, and then I will let you
Okay.
respond, Tamara.
because
Promise.
knowing the profession in multiple capacities, it's built up of a bunch of nosy people, and if we're on the law side, people that either love to or learn to love arguing. But it's at the basis, you're very nosy and you're very inquisitive and you want to know the information. You hear a piece of something and you want to know the rest of it, and you have the tools and the resources as well as the colleagues and the community that breeds you finding that information. So to hear somebody that's not in the field know all of this information but not be able to answer such direct questions from the host, you might be an outlier, but it's just very unlikely. And I don't know if it's a matter of you just not directly answering questions, if the story is true, or if we're just missing something. And if we're missing something, I would just like to hear it.
Sir, I guess that was my point was that No, I'm not just nosy. I've actually done a lot of community service. I've actually had all of our local news stations within 24 hours because there were so many children running around with um pew pews at each other on a daily basis. So I've actually done a lot of community service because I've lived in this community my
But what
entire
does
life and
community
I'm almost
service
50
got?
years old. I've
What
been
does
very
community service got to
involved.
do with you
I
getting
volunteered
involved
a
with a
lot.
rapist?
I was in there. I heard it. It sounded crazy to me how it was being
What
presented
sounded
and
what
the
sounded
things, the
crazy?
way
What
they
was
were
the
saying.
allegation? What was the allegation? Because it
The
sounds like the moment you heard the claim, you were like, "This didn't happen." So, what was her allegation about what
No,
happened?
that's not what it was, the way it was all presented, from the way the prosecution did it, from the way the officers handled it, from the
Okay,
way everybody
Tamara,
handled
you
it.
understand? You understand that the victim and the truth of the victim's statement has no relevance to how the prosecutor prosecuted the case, right?
Okay, well then maybe that's my point, is that it's an issue in our county. And
Okay,
I think it
But
has to
you're
then,
not
do
answering.
with,
But hang on, I do want an answer to my question. What was the sexual assault claim, and what was it the victim was claiming that you thought was crazy?
I don't, okay, I don't think that so maybe I've mispresented. Okay, so what I'm saying is I
Tamara, I'm
cannot
not
believe
fighting
the
with
way it
you.
was
I'm not
presented,
fighting
the
with
way
you.
it was
Okay,
presented.
I don't care about how it was presented. I'm asking you, what was her claim about what happened?
Oh,
What was
what
the
her claim
central
was about.
essay claim? What did she claim happened?
Um, that they had went home together and done
Were they
something and
partners or were they strangers?
strange stranger, well, exes from a past and hadn't been together for a while.
Big difference. Strangers or exes?
Exes.
Okay, they were exes, hadn't been together, and they were now schmexually getting together again.
Yes.
And did she admit that they had recently had schmex?
Yes.
Okay, and then so what does she claim happened while they're in the middle of an active schmexual relationship? What is it she claims happened?
That she one night didn't want to and he did and did it anyways.
Okay, and that he drugged her, that he held her down, that he said, "I'm going to do it," that he just did it even though she said no? How did she say it
Just
happened?
that she said no and he did it anyways.
And what sounded crazy to you about that? I would
What
agree.
sounded crazy was
Most cops would believe that the prosecutor would not prosecute. I agree with that, but that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. I agree. Most cops would not
I
believe
don't,
that would
I'm
be
not
prosecuted.
saying
You are.
so.
You're calling her a fucking liar, is what you're calling her, right?
Well, she kind of said that on her own.
No, 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 no.
No,
You believed him before. That's why you did the FOIA request because you were already on his side. So
but
why
wait.
did you believe she was a liar? Well, I want you to answer that question because you
Um,
believed him before you ever found out anything about her admitting she lied. So why
I
did you
guess
believe she was a liar?
I guess because of the way the cop presented it.
What has that got to do with her story?
Well, because she also testified that day. Those are the only two people that testified that day.
And what? What about how she testified it was wrong?
She was all over the place. I mean, during her testifying, literally the judge, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney had to stop her because of her just
Because she's talking
all,
about grape, right? You understand that that would be taxing for anyone, right?
but she kept going into other things about a personal relationship.
Because she had just been graped. You
I'm,
understand that?
I,
Go ahead, Kim.
sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. My apologies. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, you understand that some people are going to have reactions and be affected as a result of grape, and that part of that
Absolutely, absolutely.
can be, it can be a belief from their perspective that they're not going to be believed, so they overshare. It could have been nervousness and anxiousness of being in a situation where they're talking about something deeply personal. It could have had mental health repercussions on her, that she could have had mania at that moment in time, which was causing her to derail her own conversations. So, why is it you assumed that someone who was simply talking about things that were not relevant was a liar? That's all I'm asking. Because had she gone up
Like
there
I
and she
said,
had been
between hers and then
cold,
the cop's
and
testimony,
the
and
cop's
later
testimony
I
is
found
irrelevant.
But
The
it
cop's
isn't
testimony isn't. How's the cop's testimony relevant?
because you listen to both of them and you're
Why does
supposed to,
what does the
I guess.
cop know about what happened?
Sorry, are we talking about the cop that got fired and was
Well,
at
I didn't know
bullhorn?
that at the time, though.
No, but you found out later and you still believed him. Remember, you did the FOIA request as he was being
Right.
fired. So you
Yeah.
still believed, so you knew as the cop was being fired, you still believed the rapist.
I didn't know about the firing until after that.
You
That's
knew
why I
about the
FOIA'd him.
firing before you found out about the lie. You knew he was being fired,
No,
and
I found out he
and
got
even
fired.
after
That's
you
why I
learned he was being
FOIA'd it.
fired, you FOIA'd, and that's where you got your conclusive evidence that she lied. But it means that even at the point that you found that he was a liar, you were still simping for the rapist. And I'm just trying to understand, why is
I
it you
didn't know
assume
he
that
lied until after he got fired. The case was already over by then. He had the charges
okay,
had already
what was
been
the relevance of
dismissed.
the cop's testimony when the cop wasn't there? Why is the cop's testimony relevant to your determination that the woman lied?
I guess I would think that they are supposed to tell the truth under oath.
What did the cop say that was harmful to her story?
You think
Um,
cops tell the truth about things?
Actually, I
That's
didn't
crazy.
catch that. Thank you, Brussels.
But that
I
was
guess
crazy.
under
Hey,
I
Cap.
guess under oath, I would think they would.
You
Have
would
you ever
think
had a
they.
speeding ticket?
Um,
Have you ever
yeah,
had a traffic infraction?
yeah.
They
Yeah,
be lying
cops
like a
lie their
motherfucker
ass
about
off.
that meter.
I just have to clarify again. Tamara, you said that her lie was that it was actually more, specifically more consensual than she had originally claimed. So not entirely consensual, not just consensual, more consensual than she originally claimed. So shit that was still unconsensual happened.
Yes. That's what the
Oh my
later
god.
claim was.
Okay, so
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
that's not false then.
yeah,
That
that's honestly
it's that
not.
simple. That's not false.
That
Yeah,
feels like
like
that feels
that's
like
not
someone made her feel guilty, yo. Like
Yeah, I
exactly.
Yeah,
think
That's
one. I
what
think
does
crazy.
one
more
thing that is
consensual mean?
one thing that's very interesting that a lot of people always leave out. Now, I'm not going to say always. Majority of the time that I hear people talk about somebody that's been essayed before and their testimony that gets left out is that it is somebody that has been through something extremely traumatic that while they are trying to give their story is also at the same time hoping that they don't believe the words that are coming out of their mouth and they can come off very contradictory, which sounds like all over the place and going over here in left field and going over there in right field. They don't want to relive like the place and going over here in left field. We hear like relive the moment, but a lot of people don't know what that actually looks like is they want to
You're right.
tell
You're
what
100% right. I
happened, but
don't know
they
what that
don't
looks
want
like.
to, but hold on, but they don't want to believe what they're saying as the words are coming out of their mouth. That's an extremely common thing.
You know, you are 100% right. I don't know what that looks like because I have not experienced that. You are 100% right with that fact.
And
I've
I say
never
that as
experienced that.
somebody that, and I've already like measured the room. I say that as somebody that also used to be a cop.
Hmm.
I know
You did call it.
it.
So
And
did
Well, I mean, I
so
think it's
I
pretty clear. It's like it's nothing to hide, but it's like I'm saying that as somebody that used to
no,
be a
you do,
cop.
yeah.
Like that's what that looks like.
Yeah, no, you
so
do act like a cop.
I mean,
Respectfully,
do
of
they
course.
literally try to make
I got
victims
no
like
hate toward them.
purposely look bad?
Yes,
That's their
Tamara, they do
job.
that.
Or in their head,
Why
that's
would
their
the
job.
cops want to do that?
Oh my
Tamara,
Why would they want to
god.
do what?
Make the victims look bad? I don't understand.
Why do
Like,
I
cops
why
think a
would
look
lot
they
of
bad,
times
want
that I
people?
would
There's a
say, I think
lot
a
of
lot of times
questions
it
I have
looks
I'm
like
curious
you
to
want to
answer.
make it look bad. It's really that
Why did cops dress up like protesters
it's
during the
that you label
BLM
like you
protesting
label
in
a,
riots?
and I'll say something that's pretty even keeled. When you say a cop, it's like you forget that is another human being, just like the prosecutor, just like the defense attorney, just like the clerk, just like the stenographer, just like the judge. You forget it's a person and people have opinions and they have their own perspective. And it's just like tomorrow, who we're talking about grilling this person, asking them, like, well, why would you think this? Why would you go with that side? You can apply the same thing to a cop. Why would you not believe them? Why do you believe them? It's people have their own perspectives and their opinions, and the words that come out of their mouth It's filtered through your own perspective, and
and,
it's also filtered through what they think and how they
and it's
express
also
that.
You
and
know,
it's
and
also
I guess
because
I
most
can
cops who are
see.
going to be taking it's also because most of the cops who are going to be taking the reports are going to be men, and men have a belief that false allegations happen all the time, and so they tend to play devil's advocate a lot. And
I
I
think a
can
lot of
say
times that.
as sorry, go ahead.
No,
What?
you're the host. You're the host, so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I
We
would
don't
say that from
ordinarily.
somebody
I
that's
know
taken like
people.
thousands of like somebody that's taken thousands of reports is that one thing that I found very interesting. I had a life long before I was a cop, and I have had a life afterwards, which is that before and after looks a lot different than when I'm the one doing it. The general public puts a whole lot of stock in reports as if they really mean more than they do. They don't mean a lot. It's literally just words on a paper going up to investigations. If you decide to take a report, you just decide to take one. If you don't want to take one, you don't take one. They really don't matter to you. It's literally just notifying investigations and detectives that, hey, this thing happened. It doesn't really mean anything to you because you take maybe like, I'm not going to say 100 of them, like 5 to 25 a day. So it doesn't really have any effect on you as a person or what you think or your perspective on any given day, on any given call. If this person says this thing happened, you don't want to send up anything that sounds like super left field up to investigations because they curse you out. But for the most part, you don't even have to believe it. You're just going to write the report, put everything that they said in there, and send it up. And one thing about report writing, one of the first things they tell you is your opinion doesn't go in there. What did they say? What did you see? Send it up. Reports don't hold as much weight as a lot of people think they do. It's
Yeah,
not the end all be all. It's actually the judicial system that is the end all be all.
Do people? I
well, I
see.
mean, I
I
would say,
personally think of reports as like the beginning.
Well, because that report is what goes to
yeah,
the
wait,
prosecutor to decide if it's going to be
yeah,
charged or not.
the
So,
report
how
is
does that
actually
report
really
not
fucking
matter?
Investigator, the investigator.
That's really important.
Tamara, hang on, guys. If we can just stop for a moment, just stop for one moment, okay? Tamara, it is really important, but it's not important to the cop who's doing it. And in terms of when you're taking those reports, I agree with Jamel that you're ordinarily not meant to have your opinion infused in it, but your opinion is going to be what colors what you put in it. And I've now helped dozens of women with the reporting process. And there's one incident where I've talked about, that people have heard, where the cop, when I told them what happened on behalf of the person who asked me to help them, their literal response was the same thing happened to their daughter. And then he went on about blaming his daughter in that situation for putting themselves in a dangerous situation. And it was very clear that that officer, even if you gave them a factual report, that they were someone who blamed the victim for engaging in behaviors that invited the grape, and that's going to color how it is they, what details they include in the report, and the ferocity with which they may push for that report to be taken seriously by the prosecutor. It is really important, which is why the number one thing I recommend people who are making those reports is to speak to a lawyer before they make the police report, and that
I
they
agree.
have a lawyer go over a statement. And what I
I
do
agree.
with a lot of the people I help is we draft up their written statement, and they add that as an addendum, and you force it to be added as an addendum to the police report. So it's a supplement. So you're not relying on the police officers deciding what facts are important, if that makes sense.
I would just like to say that.
It makes complete
Holy
sense. But
fuck!
it seems like if
Jesus
they're the
fucking
ones.
Well,
Christ!
hang on. No, I do want Tamara to respond, Brussels, respectfully. Like, that was a lot from Jamel and from me. You will definitely get next, Brussels. I promise you.
Okay, so like you guys can like be mad all you want at me, but like that sounds horrible. If an officer knows that those words are what a prosecutor is going to read and make a decision of, they really should take it more seriously. That's horrible.
I'm shocked you didn't
That
know
is
that, but okay.
that
Well, I
is
Brussels,
would
go ahead.
say that
Oh,
it goes back to
no,
my
I would
point.
think they would at least take accurate reports. Like,
It
I
goes back to my
mean,
point earlier that every cop, although they don't always and oftentimes not adhere to it, the first rule of report writing is to leave your opinion out of it. But it goes back to my point earlier of people add this title and forget this is a human being with their own perspective, and how their feelings are oftentimes going to bleed into the words that they write, similar to
Okay,
what
you
the
know what?
host
I'm
said.
be calling
And
like
that's why
racist
I
and
think
stuff
the
in the
host is
comments, and
correct.
that is the
Hold on.
rudest
That's why I
thing.
think that,
I'm
well,
not
let me
racist.
finish.
That is so
Let me
wrong.
finish. Let me finish. That's why the host is correct and why I said I agree that consult with an attorney and have their statement, the victim's statement, as added to an addendum to the
That
report
actually
so
sounds
that
like
when it
a
goes to
better
court, because like I
idea.
said, the report is not the end all be all, but court is. And that is something that should be in there because
I
we're dealing
agree.
with
That
human beings
system,
and we
that's the
can't
way the
act like
system
human
should
error
work.
is not a part of
You're
it.
100% right. I agree with you. I
It,
100%
it,
agree
it
with that.
I think people are kind of surprised that you seem to be learning for the first time that the criminal justice system does not actually serve people.
No, I know it doesn't serve people. I've watched that. I live in a impoverished community, but it just, I would think that something so serious like that, that an officer would at least take the time to write the report, like
But in
factually and
their
not
but in
just,
their but in their head they may be doing it factually, but their
they didn't even
biases
fill
are
the
going to
entire
be
thing
pronounced.
out to begin with.
Yeah,
They
because they're
literally didn't even fill,
biased. Because of their bias. Because they
like,
make a
that's
prejudgment.
disgusting.
There are biases, and sometimes it's like there are biases. Imagine that we're talking about something that's essay, right?
I,
And a victim comes to you and they want to give you their statement and you write your report. You could 100% say, I'm writing this report, whether it's the policy or like you have to do it, or it's up to your discretion whether or not you take it. You say, I'm going to write this report based off of what they said, but you're the one writing it. And you may not be putting your opinion in it or what you think, but you're a human being. And the way you type it, no, you can have five different cops on the same call and have them all write a report based off of what the victim said alone. And you're going to get five different reports every
And
single time.
an example of that, Tamara, and then I'm going to hand over to Brussels, is Tamara, when you leave this live,
mhm.
factually, if someone asked you how this live went, factually, you would say, people in the comments were calling me a racist. People in the comments were saying that I was engaging in harmful behavior, right? Those are facts that happen. And that would be the facts that you think are relevant to share with the people who you report this to. But if I was to go and tell people what happened, I would say this person came up and she talked about a rapist that she became fixated on trying to determine whether or not he was innocent and even went to the extent of doing FOIA reports and developed a weird parasocial relationship with, because those are the facts that are relevant from my perspective. Ken would have a whole different set of facts that are relevant because your opinions and biases color what facts are relevant. Does that not, like, that has to make sense to me?
No, I understand that. I understand what you're saying, but I'll be honest with you, that would not be my opinion of this live. You guys could have been really
You understand
nasty,
my
and I don't,
point. You understand
yeah,
my
I do,
point,
but
though.
I do
Okay.
respect the fact that you guys don't agree with, and obviously I'm very naive about things and certain, because I know cops do horrible things, but I would have think that like something like that, they would actually take the time with and to find, like, to know that they don't even take the time for that. Like, that's what was so mind blowing for me to begin with. That's why it was so, it didn't make sense to me. I mean, I'm sitting through cases that are so much less important, that have so much more detail and so many more elements. And this was just like, so just like nobody, it was just the oddest, like shortest on, like,
I,
it just made no
I,
sense.
I don't know where you got this idea. Like, I got to admit, like, right before I arrived in New York, like a year or two or a couple of years before, there was like an anniversary thing happening when I arrived of this case that totally colored how it is I viewed police in America. And it was the Abner arrived of this case that totally colored how it is I viewed police in America. And it was the Abner Luima case, where a Haitian American man had been arrested by the cops in the NYPD, who are considered meant to be the best. Haitian American man had been arrested by the cops in the NYPD, who are considered meant to be the best of the best. And
Mhm.
because he quote unquote talked back, they took I think it was a the handle of a brush of a broom, and shoved it up his ass and raped him.
What?
Yeah, this happened in, if I remember, it was 1998 or so.
Yeah, that happened in the 90s.
Yeah, and so when you say that, like, I can't believe cops would do this. I guess it's we again, what you know kind of colors your opinion. I've always thought of cops, and Jamel, I'm not someone who like hates all cops. Like I think
Oh no, bro,
I
you're
am
good.
a cop,
You're
but
good.
like I understand a lot of people become cops for different reasons. Some people become cops because they want to change the system and all that. But from my perspective, like that shit would never happen in Ireland. That would fucking never happen in Ireland. There was a callousness over in New York that just scared the shit out of me. So the idea that you're like kind of shocked to learn these things, whereas like I feel like people have known these things for like decades,
Well,
I
is
no,
thought it
but
was
honestly
I
wild
know
that
they
you thought that
I know they
the
do on so many
NYPD
other
was
things.
the cream of the crop, because I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up in New York, and it's
oh,
like,
you get what I'm
no,
saying.
the best cops in the world are honestly the ones that you never hear about. They never make the news, and they have zero civil suits against them. You never hear about them,
Yeah,
and that's actually most of the country. It's not LA,
and
it's not New York, it's not Miami. Like you don't hear about them because they don't make any waves, good or bad.
yeah, and that Abner Louisville thing, Tamara, just to be clear, like that's fact. That's not an opinion as to what
No,
happened.
no,
You
I
can
believe
Google it.
you
But
100%.
Brussels, Brussels, you were wanting to go, so let me make space for you to go.
Well, it was just one point. It's so far past now.
You bring it up again? Like, yeah.
Next time you jump in, I'll make sure to pause everyone on the panel.
Yeah,
This is
It's all right.
it's Black
Can you
History
not say
Month.
it with a sad voice though? Like I feel bad now.
I feel sad.
She's like the nicest person, and you were just like, stop it. 1 second, and then 10 minutes later, now you can make your point, and she just lost it.
Yeah, I was
I'm not
supposed
even
to
that far
go
into
right
Black History.
I had to
after.
drop Ken to make space for Brussels to finish her thought.
And you
It's Black History Month, Ken. That's fucked up.
you added a whole bunch of people to the after.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I
Hey,
just
host.
wanted to say that when I filed the police report, I didn't even talk to the cop. I was like, I'm not talking to you. I want to talk to the detective. I do not want to be asked questions by you. So he was like, fill out this sheet of paper. And then they called me back in like 30 hours, 60 hours or some shit. And I was like,
Another smart move.
What?
Another smart move. Anybody can do it anywhere.
yep.
The things that I do when I help people report, I call in advance. I ask what the process is. I usually ask whether or not there's a female officer who's able to take the report. Then I usually ask to speak to that officer, explain to them generally what happened, tell them that I'm calling on behalf of the victim, suss out whether or not there's any like issues with that person, if they're indicating any sort of like biases or hostility towards someone trying to help out a victim. Because if they show understanding that someone's helping out, then you know you got someone who is going to be a lot more receptive to the report. And then I do think the most important thing is to talk to the victim over and over again before they report and get their story in a written statement that has been vetted by someone to make sure you're not saying things that are harmful. Because most lawyers would tell you not to do a written report because of the fact you may say things that are harmful to your case, which is why you have to really carefully vet what you put. But there's no way all the facts you report in a grape, there's no way they're going to all make it to the police report. Oh, and another
You know what?
tip on that, by the way, is when
That
they
make
take a
you know what?
police report. Sorry, just one other tip. When they do take a police report, for anyone who doesn't do it that way, when they do take a police report, you ask for that police report very quickly. You'll normally get it within 3 to 7 days. You review it, and you're allowed to contact the police officer to amend and update a police report. I
Before the court
strongly
date.
recommend people do. Yeah, exactly.
Before the court date.
And it's considered just as part. They don't, they can try to come at it, but like it is considered as part of the police report. I strongly recommend you take advantage of that amendment process in order to correct things that the cop decided was not relevant, which are relevant.
Yeah, and I think
So
that's an amazing thing to
I
do.
just
And I don't know the host, like host, I don't know you and I don't know what you do for a living, but I will definitely say your expertise of procedural law is immaculate. And
I
I think
worked at
you
a
should
law
keep
firm as a fax repairman, so I just picked up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think you should keep doing what you're doing. And I think it's like something that everybody should know. Like what you know actually should be the standard of what everybody knows.
no, I
I
guess
just wanted
can I
to wait,
can I
Tamara, because I kind of wanted to go off of Russell's point about when they reported, because I have reported 3 times. Now, the first time I was asked what I was wearing, the very first question
What?
that they asked me was, "What were you wearing?" And they claimed that it was so that they could find me on the CCTV. They didn't end up even looking through the CCTV. They did not even look for the guy who assaulted me. Right? The second time, I came with screenshots. I had his face, I had his full name, I had his address, because I had been in a relationship with him, and they scared me off of prosecuting with the threat of possible character defamation because of the fact that his family was rich. The third time that I reported, they said that because I didn't remember anybody's name, because I had been rugged, we'll say, right? I had been drinking and then I was rugged. So I didn't remember anybody's information. They said that they couldn't do anything to help me because they didn't have a DNA sample to compare it to,
Ma'am, you were
right?
done a disservice, as well as I just want to. I'm not going to ask you any questions. I'm going to tell you like why cops around the world, not even just in this country, why they ask about the clothing that you were wearing. A lot of people think it's
Wait,
about.
wait, we
Can
don't, we
I
don't,
Well, hold
just,
on. Like,
yeah,
no,
we,
I,
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
saying
no,
no,
it
no,
for
no, no,
like
no. We
everybody
don't
because there are
no,
need
women
to,
in
we don't
here,
yeah,
need you, we
and
don't,
no.
we
I'm
don't
gonna
well,
cut
need
no,
you
I
off
you.
want.
there.
I'm not. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut
we
trying
you
do
to
off.
not
like.
need you to explain, to her why cops asked what she was wearing.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you
gonna,
Well,
I'm
I'm
started
gonna
with an
trying
go.
to tell
apology.
you so that
Stop
I
it.
can
I'm
help you.
speaking. I'm speaking. You started with an apology and then you were like, I just want to let you know why cops do this everywhere. So we're going to cut
Well,
you off there because that's
well,
just
huddle
not,
like your
this is
sense
not
of
the
like
time and
hate
the
for
place.
cops so that I can actually help people.
This
But
isn't the
we
time and
know
the
Yeah,
place.
why.
hang on, Jamel.
We
Jamel,
know why.
I'll just echo what Ken said. I understand that you are wanting to help, but what Ken said, time and place, as you recognize, she was harmed. So rather than explain why the cop may have harmed her unintentionally, like you can DM me
No,
later and
it
give me that
wasn't
information.
unintentionally. It
Well, no,
was
well,
she
but
was
that's all it's
put at
going.
a
But that's.
disservice.
But let me just interrupt. Like that's why she's saying time and place. Yeah, I just followed you. So if you have information you'd like to share, feel free to send it to me. I'll happily share it on the next live.
Yeah, I'll
But I
send it
think
to
it's
you.
just more so when someone is saying they were hurt by a process that they don't want to hear why the process happens. But I hear what you're saying. It's just kind of a boundary on the live. That's all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just like I don't like to hear that somebody was just brought a
Yeah, no, I get
disservice.
it. I get it. But like from her perspective, her being hurt by this is more important than the fact that you want to help people, if you know what I mean.
No, I agree. I agree.
I
I'm
hear where you're
sorry.
coming from. So,
I'm sorry. I
Neuro,
apologize.
no worries. Go ahead, Neuro.
Yeah, so the reason that that question even hurt me wasn't because they asked, but it was because of the fact that they gave me the reason of it was to try and identify me in the CCTV so that they could find the man who was standing behind me, right? But they didn't even look through the CCTV. They didn't bother to. So that reason was a bullshit reason, right?
Yeah.
And that was what hurt me. They gave me a bullshit reason. They scared me off of reporting my rapist. They tried to flip it on me and say that because I was rugged and I had had stuff to drink, it was impossible to do anything about it. And Tamara's left.
Wanted to tell her something.
I had a whole line of questioning that I wanted to ask her, and
I
I never got a
literally,
chance to.
I was gonna just ask her one simple question that she stated that she was, there was actually two really fast. She stated that she was like, she did the FOIA request and that she was already close to him by this time. And so she called him, but then later in the story said that she had done that because the case interested her. And
Yeah.
then, so that didn't make sense. One. And then the second one was going to be the fact that if she doesn't even know these like almost common sense things that happen around grape and women and reporting, I want to know what makes her the arbiter of being able to say if a rapist is lying or not, or if they were falsely accused or not. It's just
Well,
weird.
yeah, because relatedly, you can't claim to have been investigating this issue in your county and be shocked by the idea that cops will have biases and not properly report information. Like it was I mean, it was honestly kind of sad. Like, I know people may have been upset with her, which I was as well. But I was also like, this is like, I don't know if she's in here. Like, don't take this the wrong way. It was just kind of like pathetic, if that makes sense. Like, I was just like, how sad is it that this is, you were simping for a rapist? Like, I just couldn't get over how, like, how fucked up you have to be to do that in your own head. Like, because I don't think people intend, like, why would you want to simp for a rapist? You know what I mean? In the sense, like, I have to imagine in her head it made sense. And that makes me, like, sad that her thinking is that fucked up in a way.
I
Large
mean, I was
percentage
about
of the
to say
country.
somebody mentioned earlier that she is a Trumpy, so I'm not too surprised.
Yeah, I wanted to ask her about Luigi Mangione because she posted on her page, like a picture of him and was like, "Oh, if you're making T-shirts and you're like glorifying this, you're the problem." And I wanted to go down a line of questioning of like, do we both agree that he has not gone to trial? Do we both
Oh,
agree that
great
he
point.
has
Yeah.
not had a guilty verdict? So why is it okay to believe that he is guilty? But when it comes to grape and believing a woman, why is that suddenly hard?
I
But
do kind of believe her story in the sense that she did come across this stranger and just start believing the case. And I'm just trying to like think. I do know there are these people who fall in love with serial killers and stuff. Like, is that what that was? Like, in what other scenario?
It's giving.
it
Yeah,
sounded like
it's
prison pen pals.
Right?
yeah.
Which, by the way, if no one's gone on
Prison.
the updated online pen pals, it's a scene, man. Like,
Oh,
you
you
should
guys
all
just
check it
said
out.
prison dating?
Oh, it's amazing. I go
Okay,
through it like
I
once
missed
every
that.
couple of months. It's amazing fun.
Oh yeah, we all know about Mendoza.
Oh yeah, I forgot I showed her prison pen pal dating profile. I totally forgot about that.
I don't know. I think she just got very dogmatic.
Yeah, I go back and forth. Like, I always feel bad in the sense like, I know people in the comments will be like, "Why were you coddling her?" And part of the reason is because I'm going to lose her. Like, it's a delicate thing, knowing how hard to push a person before they're going to run away. And if they run away, like, you've lost it. Like, what's the point in having them run away? At least you can either get education out of them by showing people the perversion in terms of the thought process of them, or you could potentially change their mind, which is also great. But like, I just don't like people to be run away. And so I'm kind of sad she left, to be honest with you. But I think the
Yeah, I think
comments
when
were
we
just
talk
so
like
vivid.
when you're talking about serious things, it's of course you want to hear people out and you want to get the facts, but you also want to make sure that everybody is as comfortable as they can possibly be in all parties. And I think it just got very dogmatic, which is like her perspective became fact. And when you were questioning them, I can't speak for her, but what I saw on the outside looking in was that her, she realized that she didn't have all of the facts. And when you're being asked about facts and you realize that you have few, it's a very uncomfortable experience.
I'll be
But
honest,
the
she had a
thing,
lot of facts. I don't think I was catching her out on a lot of lies, to be honest with you.
Well, I
Mm.
just
What's that,
wanted
I'm
to
Kat?
not saying I'm
add.
not saying that she was
Oh, it's
lying
Russell.
at all. I'm not saying she was lying at all. What I'm saying
Well,
is like when your perspective to you becomes a fact, that it's what you saw and what actually happened are oftentimes not the same thing. So when you got down to procedural law of like what part of the case were we in? Did they say this? Why would the victim say this thing? Like, like why would they say that they are like that they
Oh, I think she
committed a
lied about
crime?
that. Yeah,
That's the
I
point where
don't
it's
think.
like you realize, oh, I actually don't have the facts. I just know what I saw. And she just didn't say that part. And that would have covered all of it. Just saying, like, I just know what I saw. I just know what I heard.
Yeah, I do want to be clear. I do think she lied that the victim said she took it back. Brussels, you were going to go, and I think Kat then wanted to go.
yeah.
I just wanted to ask why people act like the word racist is a slur.
How dare
What?
you?
Like y'all are mad more at the word racist
Come
than
on now, it's
racist
Black
being.
History Month.
Ooh, you know what? Y'all reminded me. I forgot to make a Bigot Black History Month card. I forgot.
Wait, Magical, are you on the West Coast?
Yes.
5 more minutes until Black History Month.
I know. You know what? I'm gonna use this 5 minutes to make the bingo card that I made last year. Hold on.
Yay.
I'm in the meantime. I'll do Brussels. Yeah, Brussels. You're allowed to in 5 minutes, 4 minutes, drop any white people you don't like up here. That is now.
It's
Sorry,
1:56
sorry,
a.m.
Cat and Mac. You're kind of on
Bruce
the
out here doing a
maybe.
lot
I'm
for
not sure.
Black History Month, ain't he?
I would just like to say I'm like super chill and stuff, but like I get it.
Oh,
It's
you're a
okay.
good one, is what you're saying?
I'm
I
like so
see.
A
cool.
good one?
I know
I'm
Really?
that
so
Brussels
cool.
likes me, but she can still drop me just on the basis of
Y'all
me
ain't
being a
selling
white woman.
yourselves.
That's okay.
Y'all
I
ain't
know.
selling
I'm
yourselves that
literally a
good right
terrible
now.
saleswoman. I'm a terrible saleswoman, honestly.
Ken, what the hell do you keep doing when you block that?
Listen, one thing.
Smokes. Smoking.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay,
Partaking.
all right, just checking.
Listen, I'll tell y'all
Partaking.
one marketing strategy. CPR, create personal relationships. Okay, you guys got to get close to people.
What are
Listen,
My
those?
my other
CPR.
favorite marketing strategy is shutting the fuck up. That's another favorite of mine, personally.
Not a fan of that one myself.
Favorite one
Definitely a
is the
I say
question.
this as I don't shut the fuck up often, but I do when I need to.
Oh,
See, I'm a
When you
fan of
need,
that when it comes
when
to
you
other
need,
people. Me personally, I can't follow it. As proven just then. Sorry.
when you need
No
an
worries.
acronym to remind you to like be a human. Um, yeah.
Jamel, I do want to say something, and I'm going to get accusations of coddling, but I understand your impulse to share that information that you were going to, and I understand it can feel a lot when people are sort of saying that that's not appropriate and maybe giving you energy that you were not intending to invite. Um, I think that, when you're in different spaces, I think that it's okay for people to have like different priorities in terms of like what they prioritize and stuff. And like I'm often having to catch myself saying things that I may want to say, but then I'm like, well, I try to make this more of like a victims oriented space more than anything. And so I hope you understand that the energy you were getting was more so protecting the space and the priority as opposed to anything else. Because I know it can often be misinterpreted as people just wanting to make issues or people just wanting to like shout at someone or people just wanting to make a big deal out of nothing. But it's all about really just protecting the integrity of the space, if that makes sense. So
Oh
it's
no,
sort of
it's
like,
it, it's just like how I said about 20 minutes ago when everybody was talking, and I'm just like, it's the host chat, it's his house, like, and I'm
I guess.
you're correct. For me, it was like wrong place, wrong time. Also, self-admittedly, it's almost 3 a.m. where I'm at. I had 3 glasses of wine, which lowers your
I need
inhibitions,
to know that.
and I just like I had a thought in my head, and I started speaking, and I just didn't read the room.
yeah. And that's all I'm saying is that I appreciate the fact that you didn't.
But I just
A lot
wanted
of
to
people
say,
get very
like, I had no
by that shit.
malice.
And
I just like when from somebody that's like been where I've been and like done the things that I've done, I hear somebody that's been hurt by the system, and I'm like, it's not oh, this is why they did this to like tell you that you're wrong. It's like, this is how wrong they are.
Are you
And I just wanted to
retired?
like explain that.
Are you retired?
Technically, no.
So you still the popo technically.
It's one of those fields where you're never completely out of it, even when you leave it. Like
Mm.
I do real estate and music now, and you're never completely out of it because I still train people. And it's like
Um,
what like it for me, I will say it was wrong place, wrong time. I shouldn't have tried to I didn't think I was cutting you off, but maybe I did. I wasn't trying to like cut you off or try to mansplain anything. It's just I heard something being done
Just
wrong.
acknowledge
I just heard a
and then
story of something being
apologize
done wrong, and
and
I was
cut
just
it.
like, and
Jamel.
like that's the stuff I'm talking
Jamel.
about. Like that's where somebody's done
Jamel.
wrong. This is what they were supposed to do.
Jamel.
Yeah,
Magical's trying to talk.
I'm sorry.
Well, Jamel, to be fair, Magical was jumping over Jamel, but go ahead, Magical.
I don't give a damn. Listen, because y'all were just gonna let him over-explain for such a long
That's
time.
what I'm saying.
And I was
Like, just apologize and leave it there.
like, cut it.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all I was saying. Just that's it.
I think that one of the things I resonate with what you said is that you don't mind people correcting you and saying you're wrong. It's the inference that you had malice. And I think that can cut a person deep because and I think that's probably why when someone is told that, remember she freaked out over the racism thing, is that in her head, when she hears that, she infers that means she has malice. And I feel like people need to get more comfortable with the idea that you can do things that are wrong without ever meaning them to be wrong.
Can you say that again, just so I can internalize it?
Sure. When people come at me to correct me, the thing that hurts me, why I'm defensive, is not because I did something wrong. It's really easy to say, oh, my bad, I won't do that again. It's the fact that the inference that I did something wrong, that I did it, not because I'm misinformed, because why would I get defensive about that? If I'm misinformed, I can't feel personally attacked because I'm an idiot. But it's because I feel like I'm being misunderstood as people thinking that I had malice in doing it. So, for example, I believe you were reacting the way you were reacting because you thought people may have felt that you were doing it with malice and that you were being intentionally harmful. And I think you're trying to communicate that you would never want to be intentionally harmful. And I think people just, for some reason, always think that simply because they did something wrong means that people think that you are an evil person. And I don't think that's the case. I think people fuck
Yeah,
up all
yeah,
the time.
you're
They're not
completely
evil.
correct because it's like, like when people say they don't like cops, the ACAB, cops always do something wrong, you don't believe they lie. It's just like I know the degree to that's true, but it's like that it has nothing to do with me because I'm like that's not the reason why I got into it. That's not what I maintained during my career. Never lied on a report. Always I'm your ultimate victim advocate when it comes to when I was doing the job and it's when I'm like, oh, I hear somebody got done wrong. And yes, in the middle of their statement, definitely wrong. Like it was wrong place, wrong time. But I was just like, that's the stuff I'm talking about when I'm teaching of this is what happens when you don't do your job the right way. And I was just wanting to explain why they asked that question, and how they were taught why they would even ask that question. Not what they said, what they were taught to do. And they didn't do that.
Why did you want to go into it?
I
Because
wanted to go into
and
it because I just wanted to, I feel the need to explain to people something that you're just not given, which is what, procedural law, the procedures of the police, what the police actually are today, modern times, why they do the things they do, why they say the things they do, why they go about things the way they do, and that it's not as objectively nefarious as you think it is. That there is a reason why you ask questions when it comes to the clothes. So what clothes were you wearing? A lot of times people think oh, so I'm just not supposed to wear this. I'm not supposed to wear that.
Jamel, I'm helping you
Yes.
out here. Just avoid that one.
Okay. But I mean, you asked the question, what was I trying to get at? So I was going to answer it.
No. I think you misheard me. What I said was, why did you go into law enforcement?
Oh, I entered law enforcement because I think it was about 2015, 2016. And that was the time and I grew up in the Bronx where I watched the planes hit the towers. And fast forward about 15 years and I'm seeing Mike Brown and I'm seeing all these people being assaulted by the police where it became a mainstream thing to see body cam footage or people holding their phones up, their camera phones, their 2015 camera phones recording these events. And I was just like, are the police really that bad? And if they're that bad, maybe they need a good one. And and if I'm wrong that they're not that bad, I mean, they could still use another good one, because I know I love a break. When I pull somebody, like if I were to pull somebody over, I'm not trying to give them a ticket. I'll give them a break. If I'm at somebody's call, I know the difference between a real disturbance and a spades game or dominoes or something, or it's just, a marital event where people are just arguing because they've been living together for 20 years. People get into arguments in relationships, that I would understand that. And that's why I got into the job. And I consistently maintain that. And it was and this isn't like, and nobody will care, and it's not ever, anything that anybody says is never going to affect what I think about myself or my career. But I have had it like expressed upon me.
No,
People don't understand what it's like to do a job. And if you remove cop from it and you put another profession in it, everybody always has something to say about what somebody else does. And you have a different perspective when you do it, and you know why. And you know why you do it and what you do. I can't speak to anybody else in my profession. I can only speak for myself. And although a lot of things can be true, it's like, but that's not me, though. I know it's not me. And I can also tell you, people I've dealt with, they think that's me, and it's not.
yeah, I just want to say, like, I have a lot of empathy towards people who go into being a cop in order to bring about change. And like, I have to assume, like, Jamel, you're black man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, I have to assume, like, when he's saying those are his motivations, that makes sense. And I empathize with it only because of the fact that I originally wanted to be a prosecutor. And
You'd be a good one.
well, the problem was I became very disillusioned pretty quickly when ADAs are what I thought was their discretion that they're able to exercise. In my head, I thought if I became a prosecutor, I would be able to identify who are the people who are actually guilty and not ever try to put the burden on someone due to biases about thinking that they're guilty. I thought I would be able to cut breaks for people for nonviolent crime. I thought I'd be able to bring about justice by being exercising the discretion that an ADA had. And then I came to learn that ADAs largely are working within policies that are being set forth by the district attorney, and that a lot of that autonomy, you can be a good person per se, but that the policies kind of restrict your ability and or often force you to do things that are harmful. And so that's why I have a lot of empathy for people who go into being a cop. And I think there is people who are within the system who try to be good. I do think, however, the system is, and I have to imagine the police system is similar in terms of the prosecutorial system, in the sense that you can be a good individual, but within the system, it's really hard to be a good individual given the lack of discretion. So with the NYPD, for example, that they used to have ticketing quotas. And so it's hard to say you exercise discretion when you're also being penalized
It's
for
actually
not
worse than a
writing.
quota.
Yeah,
It's actually
what?
worse than a quota.
Oh, yeah,
Quotas
you
are
know what I mean. Like,
illegal.
you are now being forced to write tickets that you may not actually believe you should write. And so that's something that even as a good person, you're still being forced to do.
Yeah, it's like so quotas have been illegal for decades. There's you can't
Formal
have a quota, but
quotas.
what they do have is status checks, where they say this person has done this many calls, and they've done this many community checks, and they've done this many traffic stops, and you've done 4. And they're like, you got to go out there and do something. So you can be the person that decides, well, I'm just going to write 100 warning tickets today. Pull 100 cars and tell me that you're not going to have arrests, and you're not going to have problems, and you're not going to have clippable moments, because most of those people are everyday good citizens. They just have no license. They just have dead registration or something like that. Like it's stuff that doesn't matter. But the way that they interact with you is, you're not even up to the car yet, and they're like, bitch, just write the ticket. And you're like, whoa, brother, I'm like, in your mind, you're like, I'm just trying to write 100 warnings today for the stats.
Yeah, I mean,
And now
I
you're in that
do have.
situation.
yeah, I do have empathy
Or you
because
pull
like
up
a
on the
lot of
car and they've
people.
got KILOS in there, and then they want to, take you away from your family, and then you have a clippable moment. There are things that happen that I think unless people are in them, a lot of people don't ever think about those. Like a lot of times, the catch-all is, why aren't you dealing with somebody doing real crime? And it's like, I do that all the time. And that kind of thing, although I signed up for it, one misstep and that's prison. I've already done that 3 times today. I'm just trying to write a warning ticket and you're yelling at me, and I haven't even introduced myself yet.
Yeah, what I was going to say was because the rumor is that I was an attorney for a while, and the reason why I have a little bit of empathy towards cops, even though I do strongly agree with ACAB because of the system part of it, is that I'm also allegedly part of a profession that people hate. People think lawyers are all liars and that they're scumbags, that they're ambulance chasers, that they don't care about the truth, they don't care about ethics, and I understand why people have that impression, but it does kind of suck to be individually judged based upon a collection of individuals that you actively rebuke. So I don't know. I have a lot more, especially if you're a black man who's choosing to be a cop. I can't assume you did it for any other reason but a good intention, even if I think people would disagree that it will be effective,
Yeah,
which
at
I
this
think a lot
point,
of
like
people
in
in the
my
panel
in my
will.
life, like being an instructor, it's it's not even like what I chose to be at this point. I made that decision when I was 21 years old, and I'm 30 now. It was more so the fact that I maintained it. And I thought, and here's the thing where this is what made me grow up. I thought that when I was 21 years old and I decided to do a job like this, because I worked the prison, the jail, the courthouse, patrol, and then a bunch of other things, is I thought that me doing that, I would be viewed as what the reason I was doing it for. Like, I'm here for everybody. I'm here for y'all. I'm here to help you. I did this job. I put myself through 3 academies and a year and a half to be here for you. And they all hated me. And they still do. And I'm like, they say there are no good ones. And it's like, I was a good one the whole time, and nobody will ever believe me. And that's when I got to the point of, I don't seek validation from other people. I know what I did. I know what I chose to do. And I know that a lot of people will just sit here and point the finger and say this thing should change, and they don't get off of the couch to go change it. And I did not change the world. I didn't even change my county. I just changed some people's life for a day. And that's all the validation I need.
Just because I'm gonna drop, my dog is very mad at me because I just gave him his medication, so I'm gonna go give him cuddles. But before I do that, I just kind of wanted to explain, like, from the person that you were explaining, the like, what were you wearing to so I'm not interested in any sort of reason that might be asked. They gave me a specific reason, and it turned out to not actually be the reason, right? So if they were lying about the reason that they asked, there's no reason to do that unless it is a fucked up reason, unless it is a victim blaming reason, right? Do you understand where I'm coming from with that?
I know where you're coming from.
Right. So the fact that they didn't even look and check the CCTV, the fact that they asked me what I was wearing, the fact that they left it for 2 weeks until the CCTV was erased for the detective to call me and say, oh, we couldn't find anything when they didn't actually look. All of that proves that, number one, they didn't believe me, and number two, they were blaming me for it. Right. And that is the problem with that specific case. Right. It's not about the reasons why they might ask it. It's not about anything like that. It's about the fact that they asked me specifically in that case to try to find me in the CCTV, and they didn't even look at it. And that's the problem. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear my dog in the background, but he's very mad at me. So I'm going to go give him cuddles and apologize to him profusely.
He's very betrayed right now. I would go deal with it.
So he ate 2 laundry pods yesterday. So I had to like take him to an emergency vet near me, and I was like freaking the fuck out. And they were like, okay, so we had to give him an anti-nausea injection, and then you've got to give him this prescription. You've got to give him 4 doses before he eats. And I was like, he's gonna fucking hate me.
What
They're
kind of
like,
dog
yeah,
is
and
he?
it's an oral liquid as well, so you have to like squeeze it down his throat. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He's gonna hate me so much.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a full breed Staffy, purebred. Hold on. Oh, you
I know
guys
what a
can meet
Staffy
him
is.
just very quickly before I
Oh
go.
my god, you have to
Yeah, you enjoying
WD-40
your
that
music,
door.
Jakey?
Oh my
Please
god, you
put
got to
some oil.
WD-40 that.
Oil that door. The joints are screaming.
How old is he?
I'm literally that guy that when I hear like stuff like that, like I had a neighbor who had a gate that every time they walked in, it would make a big loud bang. So like I literally went out and got those things you put on the legs of a chair in order to stop it from scratching your wood floors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
you were gonna
No!
say that. I had that visual in my head.
I,
Yes.
I, I just I don't like unnecessary noise around me. It drives me nuts. So like I go around and fix all this shit that people don't even know I'm fixing because it drives me nuts.
No, Irish, can I say something to you?
Yeah, sure.
What you were talking about earlier about like what you thought a prosecutor would be, and that you'd be able to, for like the big cases, you'd be able to determine like, somebody guilty, not guilty, like, make things be appropriately for the case that you're dealing with. I think you already know you can do that. It's just going to be detrimental to your career because of the circumstances.
Yeah, but that means you can't do it. Like you'll be able to get away with it for your first year or two, but you won't be able to do it without being fired ultimately.
You're just never gonna like. In some places, you're not going to be fired. You're just never going to progress in your career. You would
Jake's
Yeah.
just be.
so mad at you. Look at that face. She won't even say
He's so
So
mad at
bad.
She
Look at
won't
that
even let
dog.
you look at it. She keeps
She's like, he's
Are you
like,
sure
why
that's
the
your
I'm
dog?
fuck am
sorry,
I in
baby.
this
I have to.
fucking
I know.
cage?
He's so mad. He keeps lifting his head like, don't touch me.
He's trying to get away from my little chin
Oh, shoot.
scratches, baby.
He's so mad
Open
at
that
me.
sale, let my boy out of jail.
Oh, he's
He
so
looks so
mad.
betrayed.
Yeah. My man is locked up in protective custody.
Yeah, this is not. I thought I was going to see
Won't
a
let
dog
me
bouncing
out.
around. This is sad.
Just Irish.
Oh, trust me. Look,
I'm depressed.
No. You, the police. You got
hi,
my man in the
buddy.
cage. There we go. He's
Hi.
free.
Why does he have no life
You're
anymore?
so mad at me.
How old is
I
he?
know. I know. He's just looking at me like, Mom, can you fuck off? I don't want you touching me right now.
Has he always believed he's a lap dog?
That dog is choosing prison over being petted. What are
Immediately
you doing to
jumping
that
over to
dog?
try and find food. You act like I don't feed you. I just gave you breakfast.
I
He needs some
seriously don't
bacon.
believe that's your dog. Like, there's no sign at all that dog's giving that it knows you.
Giving a cold shoulder like I mean, no, my dog does it too because when I have a strict no
Hey,
dogs in the kitchen policy, and every time my dog peeks his head around the
why?
corner,
Why,
I
Jake?
flick some water.
Okay, hold on.
Also, I want to be. I do want to clarify my
He's fully
statement.
just moving his crate now. I don't know what he's trying to do. Give me a minute.
He wants
Escape.
some snacks.
It's
He's
escape.
trying
that
to
you're looking for.
move it like out of the house and to the curb.
Mm.
I think
Oh,
I'm
so
biased because my favorite type of things to watch on my FYP on TikTok is those videos where the kids are coming home, or not even that one, where the grandparents are coming over to visit the kids, and the kids go to run to meet the grandparents, but then they run past the grandmother and then hug the grandfather. I
Yes.
kind of love videos whenever children or pets that you invest so much energy in show complete lack of love and appreciation for all the work you put in. I don't know why I love those videos so much.
You
So
know,
I think that's
there's
why.
a career route for you because I think you would actually do very well in the profession because your heart is in the right place and you have the knowledge at this point even like to do a better job than most people, which is paralegal to magistrate to applying to be a judge.
One day I can be a paralegal.
And I
I'm
know in
hoping.
North Carolina you can't do that. Paralegal, magistrate to judge. Because then it's just
Irish
up
is
to
like the
you.
good Irish is the Goodwill Hunting of lawyers. Like he's never
Irish
like
as a
practiced. He's
judge
just the
could
fax
be.
machine repairman. He's like 73 or something now.
He's a
And
thousand
he's
year
just
old
learned a
wizard.
lot in his time there and he's kind of a savant with it. But,
No,
right.
you're the right kind of person for the job, and I like if you ever decide to move to North Carolina, I know for a fact because I've watched three people do it: paralegal to magistrate to judge.
I'm sorry, can we stop talking about freaking North Carolina, that fucking butt
I
fuck
am
ass
gonna
state?
drop.
Yes.
So I just want to say bye
Goodwill.
to everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, all the
Gotta make
best,
sure
Goodwill.
Jen.
my dog trusts me. Because I love you,
Goodwill
JP.
Irish
I
is the
know.
best.
Bye, guys.
Boom. What are some things we're gonna hear this month?
A lot of wild business.
I think we're going to hear a lot of kind of what we've already been hearing, which
I
is
know. I mean, some
bullshit,
give me some
and then just
statements.
like a lot of like,
Give
well,
me
let's just wait and
sentences.
see what happens. And you're
Well,
like,
I
what's
already have
actually
a what
happening?
about YT History Month, and then I said, and I have everybody was a slave. I already know I'm gonna hear this shit. Um, I just need more.
Maybe add Brussels erasure.
Brussels, Brussels, yep, Brussels erasure for
Who
sure.
just said something?
Magical's making her bingo card. I said to add Brussels erasure.
I was joking,
Guys,
Brussels.
you guys need to speak up. He's 73 years old. He's been dealing with a lot of loud
Oh my
facts.
God, I was amplifying the idea that we were not listening to Brussels. It went over everyone's head. But okay, call
Yeah,
me old instead.
the fax machine sounds actually have like damaged
Yeah, they
your
damaged his.
eardrums.
Yeah,
I
they
think
damaged
I
his.
remember you telling me about that like
I
15 years
I
ago, but
listen.
So you know the way that I've mentioned that I have albums on TikTok because you're able to save your videos to specific albums. I have a shopping album, and I keep on wanting to buy this contraption that allows you to put a camera in your ear so you can find any errant wax and pull it out.
oh my
And I'm
God, please
so curious.
please let me know if you get it. I need to know what happens because like
You said it has a
I
camera on it,
need
right?
that if it
It has a
works and
camera
I
on it,
don't get
yeah.
a camera stuck in my ear.
Yeah, Mrs. Ken got one of those, and but she's so Mrs. Ken is actually deaf in one of her ears, and it she like cleans her ears religiously because it really bothers her in the sense that like she feels like if she cleans it, maybe one day it'll just miraculously she'll be able to hear. But she's been like this since she was a baby. But well, no. The reason why I'm saying this is because she went to and she sees an ENT every few months, and they said that she has the cleanest ears that they have ever seen. Ever seen. That they put like that, and when she looks in the camera with the stick, she doesn't see anything. It's literally clear. It's like clear as day. I don't understand
I,
it.
I
That's the
I've
crazy.
yeah, so I go to an EMT once a year in order to get my hearing testing because I want to see if there's any sort of like drop off whatsoever. I'm told that I have, for my age, exceptional hearing, and I don't have any stuff in my ear. I just think my EMT has been lying to me. I think that they've been setting me up and not telling me that there's stuff going on and that they're doing it because if they don't diagnose me now, they're going to get more money out of me later because I definitely have a hearing issue. I did ask so I have a psychiatrist that I see periodically, and I asked them, a psychologist, and I asked them whether or not there's any psychological issues that I have that may in any way affect hearing, and they did talk about ADHD
Audio
having some
processing
impact.
problems.
Yeah, but that's associated with ADHD. Like I always knew it was something related
Yeah.
to autism. I never heard of audio
No,
processing issues with regard to ADHD, but
it's
I was told that like that's a very real thing.
yeah, no, it's definitely a thing. It can cross both lines, spectrums.
JR, you're gracing us with your presence. What's up?
Thank you. Yeah, I've literally just woke up. What it was, Irish, right? Yeah, I couldn't really get a word in yesterday because it is hard to speak to you directly when Molly's on. You can't really get a word in, and she sort of like tries to sidetrack you. So now she's not on. I'm going to speak to you point blank like this,
Molly is
okay?
the devil. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it any better because when you can't speak, you can't communicate. So I don't understand on that basis how you could even like process that as intellectual chat. But anyway, right, when I first come on here the other day, when Molly was even on and she was back on your live, I was under the impression. Now,
JR, you're a little muffled. Sorry. Can you get closer to the
now,
mic?
can you hear me now? Yeah, is that better?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but not any better. But go on.
That's my mic. That's as loud as I can get it. So this subject now that's in your green screen, respectfully, that's the one I wanted to debate with you on. Okay, now you're saying to me, Jr., this is my actual topic. So why would I want to debate with you on my own topic? Well, the fact of the
On
matter
your
is,
platform.
yeah. The fact of the matter is, I don't think it matters, even if you're the sole architect of that debate, which I don't think you are, because as long as it causes a debate, as long as there's opposing views, and believe me, there's many. I don't see what the problem is with me taking that over to my live, even if you say, Jr., it's my topic. Why would I want to go over to your live?
I mean, I explained to you what
My live, even if you say, Jr., it's my topic. Why would I want to go over to your live?
I mean, I explained to you what
You were then going to pick this second topic. So that's why I come over to find out what that second topic was, so I could tell my people. And that the third topic was going to be whoever was in the comment section. We were going to do a poll to speak about the third topic.
Do you remember
Now,
when you left my live 2 days ago? I said you have to message me your tree options. Do you remember that?
no, I don't, because Molly kept derailing the conversation. If you remember, she wouldn't be quiet and she kept coming into it for the whole duration, even to the
Okay.
point the casino.
But
What I
so
was,
that's your fault, though. That's not Molly's fault. Like everyone else heard it.
well,
Did
I
everyone
never
else
heard.
hear me say, JR, you have to message me by no later than noon tomorrow, tree topics? Does everyone remember that?
No, I don't remember that, Irish. Otherwise, I would have obviously messaged you.
Yeah, he
All
said
I
that.
all I did was speak to my people, and they said immigration's a big one over here. Now I know you're in the USA, but immigration over here is a big one. Also, people aren't happy about the vaccinations as well. People aren't happy about that, so that was another one. But even so,
JR,
Irish,
that will get your JR, that's going to get your live immediately taken down if you talk about VAX.
right? Okay, fair enough then. So what about the
Immediately
immigration?
taken down.
Okay, what? So there's no debating that whatsoever. No debating it at all.
There's very difficult to talk about it without using words that will get you taken down.
Right. Okay, that's fair enough then. Thank you for telling me that. I knew it'll be a controversial one, but that's what they suggested. They didn't say they were definitely going
It's
to do
not
it.
controversial, but
Well, anyway, I feel it is. But with the second one, the immigration that I mentioned, a lot of people ask me anyway, can we do immigration?
so
So
what would be your debate prompt exactly? Like how would it be framed exactly? Remember I said frame it as a debate prompt and you said like don't insult my intelligence. I know how to frame it as a debate prompt. So what would be the debate prompt
well,
for immigration?
the people that I spoke to in regards to the immigration, as in my
You have a
mods.
committee of people?
What's that, mate? What's that? Sorry.
What do you mean the people you spoke to? You have a committee of people working on these proposals?
I've got people that are looking into stats, and of course I am, and people that want to get involved in it. Yes, of course I am, because that's what I wanted to do. But it wasn't. Let me finish. It wasn't definitely a
Okay.
guarantee. It wasn't definitely a guarantee that we were going to speak about that. So obviously I wasn't fully prepared for it because I wasn't sure we were going to even speak about that. Because all I wanted to do was speak about the one on your left hand side that's on right now and
Okay, so
clashing.
you don't have a debate prompt.
Not at this moment in time, but it can be done. But it can be done, and it will be done if you want to go forward. The reason why I also hesitated because you said to me yesterday, JR, I'm in the USA, you're in the UK. How are we going to even debate on that? So I was like, and then Molly goes, "Well, I'm from the UK, Irish. I could get you
I,
stats."
I know, but you do recall the whole idea was that you were meant to come up with three individual topics yourself so that I could choose one of your three choices.
Not initially Irish, and this is what you don't understand, my
That was
friend.
from the beginning.
No, Irish. No. I promise you now. I don't know why you don't believe me when I say this to you, but I did not believe or have any way, shape, or form of believing that when I left your live, that I was to come up here and pronounce to you, right? Yeah, three separate topics to debate on. I never knew that. If I did know that, then I would have got to work while developing the
Okay,
account.
so here's my compromise to you is that you join my live with your new account at 8 p.m. tomorrow, and I will agree to debate, or not tomorrow, Sunday, and I will agree to debate false allegations alone rarely ruins men's lives with a U.S. and or UK focus.
You want me to come over onto here, yeah, and debate it on yours?
Yeah, if it's going to be my topic, then yeah. That's my compromise. If you
Yeah.
didn't create the debate prompts, then I want the debate to take place on my live on Sunday at 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon PST, and it will be on this specific topic with a focus on the US and or UK.
Yeah, that sounds plausible. That does sound plausible. So what I'll do then is I'll speak to my people and see if they want to do that. I can't make them do that, but if they want to do that, I don't see them having a problem with that issue.
Wait, JR, please. What's your reason you can't just debate Irish like right now?
I won't be able to debate them right now, but I'm not going to woke up and that's a secret.
Well, why? Why? You've had a month. Like, I mean, are you not prepared,
Well, I was
JR?
developing, no, what it was, with all due respect to you lot, I was developing an account to take him over onto because this one keeps getting banana.
Oh, so you were so worried about the account that you couldn't focus on your debate skills.
Yeah, so the debate was the actual account that I got ready, that I've got ready, yeah, with the mods as well. It took a while to develop it, yeah. I couldn't just do it overnight. So I've got that account ready to rock and roll.
Wait,
yeah.
is this the same JR that, or the same guy that is doing the same shit to Kenzie that was like supposed to debate her and she's been trying to debate him and he keeps saying he has to build his account and his platform? Is this the same one? Oh my God.
Mac, are you still awake, Mac?
I think she's been asleep.
I'll give you 5. Yeah, I think she fell asleep. All right, I'm going to drop her on that.
Well,
Mac, if you are awake, obviously I'll bring you up instantly.
Wait, what are y'all talking about?
So let's just finish this up. JR, I do want to know, who are your people, though? And why do you have to consult your people about having a debate with me at 8 p.m.?
Because
it's just changing the platform. Why do you have to talk to a committee?
Yeah, because people wanted to have their say and people wanted to come into it, yeah? And I had
They can have free reign to come up. It will be me versus all of you. I won't have anyone else up here. And you're allowed to invite anyone up at any point. And the only thing I'll say we have to agree on is that if anyone interrupts anyone, that they get muted. Or if anyone deflects, meaning you're not answering the actual question, then you're allowed to interrupt. Those are the only 2 rules that would lead to muting, in my opinion, other than obviously use of slurs or bad language.
No, that's plausible. What I'm saying is when people are on here, you do overpower them, you do override them, and obviously they do get muted. I have seen that, so that's why I wanted to
I just said they wouldn't be muted. Like, I just made that agreement with
That's
you.
what you say. That's what you say, but that's not what you do. And if they don't follow your narrative and you don't obviously get your point across, you'll mute them or drop them in a drop of a hat. And I've seen it happen before. So, that's why.
Do you think I'm a man of integrity?
No, I don't think you are. No, definitely not. Without.
Okay, what are y'all talking about?
Not a man of integrity. Definitely.
What do you want to talk about? 11465N.
I want to talk about what y'all talking about.
Yeah. Well, Irish.
We're talking about the fact that JR and I are going on a date on Sunday. Are you offering to join?
Oh,
how old are you?
Why do you care?
73.
How old are you?
Why do you care?
Because JR is 40, so it wouldn't be appropriate if you are.
Okay,
young.
I thought y'all were joking. Nobody's being
40
serious.
Irish. You said I'm 40. I'm not even 40. What about?
JR, so again, you can bring your people over, and it could be you and everyone you want up here at the live, on the live, and I'll even go to the extent
Irish,
that...
I want to refuse it. No, you're going to come onto my live. If we do it, Irish, this is the situation, right? Yeah, this is how I organised it.
Okay, then I reject your offer.
Then you come over to my live.
I reject your offer. Thank you very much. Like, I was so clear. Give you 3 prompts, and you didn't even come up with 1. That doesn't show me you're taking it seriously, despite the fact you have a committee of people working on this. So, JR, if you want to debate, it's 8 p.m. on Sunday, and I'll do it here on my live. As I said, I think I'm being very fair that you can have 7 of your friends up here. It can be me versus 8 of you. I will allow all 8 of you on the panel at the same time, and I'll agree that the only reason to mute will be slurs or harmful language, and or if someone is interrupting, and or if someone is deflecting on a question that is asked. Marley, why do you do that so often? Where your face is up, but then you like pop it straight out, which makes it look like you didn't mean it and it was inadvertent. And I'm always like, does she know the camera's on or not? All right, you had a good night. Marley, top right.
You know, JR doesn't have 7 friends, so you're putting a lot on him.
Well, I mean, I do think he's got some committee. It sounds like he has been working with people. Do you think he's not working with people?
All right, man. Just let me get back to my people, man. Like
He
what?
doesn't have people Irish. No, he doesn't even have topics. You think he has
I never actually contemplated he was lying.
No, he would. If you guys made this whole debate up, this would have been one of those things where you advertise it and then he backs out. It wasn't. He's not going to actually debate you. He's going to be too scared. If he wanted to debate you, he could have done it right now. The prompt is literally there.
I do think he's like boomer-esque in the sense that in his head, my platform is what got him bananaed, and he doesn't understand that is because he doesn't know the appropriate TikTok language. So I do think he's scared. Marley, how drunk are you right now? The fact that you just said what time is it, I feel like next question are you going to be like, where am I right now, guys? Why are you all inside this little
You're in a
screen?
different
Do you
time
need
zone
help?
for me.
No, you're not. Same as me. You're New York, aren't you?
Oh, I forgot yours. Okay, sorry.
Go to
So
sleep.
person who just joined, pretty brownie doll. What's your take? What's up?
You can call me Bree. I'm sorry, I don't have no name up
Bree?
here. I
Sure.
apologize. I definitely agree. I had just came from another live, and it was this man. He was basically invalidating, the victims' experiences by saying, "What about the men who go through the false accusations?" Woo, woo, woo. And I didn't like his take on it because why do you have to invalidate a victim experience just to bring up some accusations? I'm sorry.
Why do you have to invalidate, say that last part?
I have said I don't like how, like, why do you have to, not you but him, have to bring up, invalidating women experiences when it comes to being victims just to bring out the false accusations. I just never understood that part.
Yeah, we recently had a debate on this topic where someone was talking about the fact that we need to focus more on the people who are being falsely accused and how they're harmed. And I agree that if you're a person who has been falsely accused, of course there's harm. But I think there's also like when you prioritize on focusing on one, you're taken away from the other. And I agree. I mean, the more you
Exactly.
focus on the harm done to largely men, right, who are quote unquote falsely accused, is the narrative they create. You're usually harming victims by suggesting that false allegations happen a lot or that false allegations are regularly harmful. And like reality is they're just not. And more
Right.
importantly, by pushing this narrative that like poor men are being victimized, people won't listen to victims who are coming forward. So I agree with you. It's frustrating. Because like
Okay.
my heart does break for people who are falsely accused. Like that's horrible. Like that is bad. But I don't understand why they can't understand that when you shine the light on one, you're taking the light off the other. It is kind of a binary in that way, in my opinion.
Exactly. I do agree.
What live did you come from where they were doing that?
His name, he go by Cloudy. I don't know if
Oh
y'all,
hell.
Oh my God, not
hey,
Cloudy.
y'all ran into
Okay.
him already?
Cloudy, so I don't know Cloudy as well, but people have been reminding me that people think I've beef with Cloudy. I think
He's
it's just more so
blocked.
that he used to come over here and I think we realized that he was problematic and now I guess he's doing his own lives.
He's very problematic.
Cloudy has
Most
called
definitely.
you out a few times. That's actually why
Cloudy
I'm here.
called me out.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah, that's actually why I'm here,
Cloudy is
actually.
blocked by numerous
I've
people in
never
here
heard of
because of
Cloudy
shit
calling me
that
out.
they've said that is problematic. So what are you talking about?
Well,
Well,
simple.
no,
Cloudy
Rux is
told
not
me.
agreeing with Cloudy. Rux is just saying
Oh,
that it happened. Yeah, like when have I've never heard of them calling me out. What did they call me out for?
All right, so I was up there not too long ago. I'm gonna say about the other day,
Sorry,
right?
one
And
second. I don't mean
he
to be
told me
rude.
to look up. He told me to look you up, right? He gave me your username.
Rux. I would love for you to finish. I really would. I apologize. We are making amends for the fact that Brussels rarely, she often gets talked over. So when Brussels interrupts, we kind of let her go with it. So give me just one moment, Rux. Go ahead, Brussels.
Oh, my
I
bad.
just wanted to say I'm falling asleep, so good night. Don't forget to send Magical her reparations. Good
precious.
That was a
night.
general statement, not just to me. All right, sweet dreams. Bye bye, Brussels.
Hi,
Sorry, go ahead,
Precious.
Oh,
Rox.
it's
Love
Rox.
you.
magical for my fellow black woman.
What's up, sister?
He had told me to come over here, right? He says that you have, well, I don't want to directly say what he said. There was a little while, but he said that you have interesting opinions that conflict with what I believe in. I was up there talking to him. He said, "Well, I should go to you because you're like, how do I? I'll simplify it here. He says you're not very smart and you have like interesting opinions, right? So,
Okay,
like,
interesting opinions that likely conflict with yours.
yeah, yeah.
So, what are your opinions?
Well, first off, I have the belief that the black community has doomed itself. It isn't white people.
Huh?
He said that
Oh
that
Yep.
boy.
conflicts with what you say there. Um, he, yeah. Um,
We
which I
we
don't
don't
know if that
really.
conflicts.
Sorry, I don't. That's not really what we talk about here. We talk about grape culture. So, what are you specifically referring to?
All right, so like for example, great culture here. I think yes, it does ruin. It can ruin guys. Like, in fact, has done it
But
a
that's not what the
lot
prompt.
actually.
That's not what the prompt says. The prompt doesn't
Well, it
say it
says false
can or cannot.
allegations. So
Rarely. It says rarely, which
yeah, but
means
when
it
you say
can.
rarely, it's not rarely. It's roughly the majority of
Rux.
times.
Slow down. Slow down. You said I think false allegations can, and what I
I
simply
said
pointed out to you
can
is
and
that doesn't.
have.
And what
Well,
I'm
you see,
saying
when
is
I said that, you got to
that
remember
doesn't
how in the
refute.
context I used it.
Yeah, Rux. Let me just
Context
finish my
matters.
statement. Rux, let me finish my statement. All I'm saying is that when you say can, that doesn't refute in any way or contradict what the statement is, right? So you
Well,
now followed it up by saying you think false allegations majority ruins lives. Is that what you said, or did I mishear you?
when I said that, I used it in the context when I say they can and have, and they ruin the majority. When I said that altogether, that is context that you need in that
Okay, so prove
situation.
it.
So,
So
well,
prove to me that
simple,
false
based on
allegations ruin
statistics
the
alone,
majority of men's
50,
lives.
51 to 53% of man that get falsely accused of that are usually lose their job, plain and simple. You lose
Okay,
your
where's
job,
that stat from?
well,
Where's
simple.
that
That's from
stat from?
Oxford University of Grape Allegations, where it states that it
Okay,
also
Oxford
states down
University of
here.
Grape allegations.
Yes, that's what the thing is.
Troll.
That's what the thing
Wait,
is
where
labeled
is
as.
that
That's the title.
campus located at?
You're just making
That
shit
isn't a
up.
campus. That's what it's called. It's Oxford, where is the place it's coming from
Oxford
there, and then
University
it's
of
the
Grape allegations.
no Oxford University. It is Oxford University, and then I'm saying the title of the thing there, which would be Grape Allegation Statistics.
That
That's
would not
plain and
be the
simple.
only. That would not be the only title. Oxford University.
That
You
is the
understand?
main title of it here.
What
Here,
is
I'll just
Oxford
send you the link.
University?
Hold on, let me
What
type the
is?
unit.
You don't have to type it in. You
Oxford
just need to.
University is no more than Google. Basically, it's a
Rux,
library where
Rux, you
Google.
gotta relax. Okay, all you have to
I
do
am
is
relaxed.
read.
Pause.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it. All you need to do to me is read out the title of the
I just
study,
gave you the
and
title. It
it's
is
not
literally
false
Grape
allegations.
Statistics of America. That I just gave you
Okay,
the
so that's
title.
no. Hang on, calm down. That's the first time you've ever said that, but you're calling it now Grape Statistics. That's not a study, but let's have a look at it. Of America, and who's the author of that study?
It would be a man named Winsler, James Dot Winsler.
Oh boy.
James. How do you spell the last name?
Winsler. Here, I'll type it.
Winsler.
Yes, Winsler. Yeah, I'm typing it.
Winsler. Okay, so I'm after typing into Google
Is
rape
that a
statistics
typewriter?
of America, James Winsler, and then I put in the
Yes,
word Oxford,
yes.
and let's see what comes back. Prevalence. No, nothing came back.
Can you go to Oxford? Hold on, this is what I done to find it. You should be able to easily find it as well. Can you go to Oxford University
Why do I? Why?
website? Go
Wait,
there.
wait. Do you know how to read a source to me?
Yes, I do. I just explained it to you. I just gave you it. I gave you where it came from. You go to Oxford University's website. Go there, look up grape statistics. Plain and simple.
That's not. That's not okay. So when you say go to Oxford University, right? You need something more specific than just saying
They have a
Oxford
website.
University.
Hold on, they have a website and a search
I'm
engine.
well
Are you
aware
like
they do.
admissions? Like, where do you want us
All
to
right,
go?
so
Yeah,
then
exactly.
they go to their search engine and use it. They have a website and a search engine. You can easily use their search engine. In
Great.
fact,
So
you
I'm
can
on the
even download
university.
it.
So I'm on www.ox.ac.uk. This is the
No,
Oxford
that is
University
their.
website, and the options are for me to go to student life, courses, colleges, fees and funding, applying to Oxford, increasing access, open days and visits.
That's
Which of
because you're
those
not
Spirit.
on their
subtabs?
search engine.
He
I
said
just
to use it.
explained the difference in the two. You're in the website, not the search engine. You gotta go to their
Well,
search
no, there's a
engine.
search. There's a search bar. Now, what would you like me to type into the search bar?
No, that's a difference.
Like
That's
Google.
different from their search engine.
Okay, so
They
what
have
it,
it's a different thing, right? Their search engine is basically Google. It's basically just like Google.
see what? Wait, you want me to use Google then?
No,
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 no.
no.
Don't use
Oxford is
Google.
like
Google
Google.
isn't a source, right? I'm
Oh
saying
my
go to
gosh.
Oxford University search engine. Look that up on
Great.
Chrome
What's
and
the
whatever.
www?
Download it. Just download
No,
it.
he's
It's
saying Oxford website is like a Google. You can use the search bar just like you can Google, is what he's saying.
Are
no,
you
what I'm
referring to
saying, they have a
Oxford?
search engine they developed.
Are you
Pause. I'm
referring to
saying they have a
Oxford
search engine they
Academic?
developed that pulls up research done by Oxford. It only
Great.
pulls
Are
up
you
research
referring
done
to
by Oxford.
Oxford Academic? Is that what you mean to be referring to?
No, their search engine. They developed a search engine a year ago that only
I swear to
searches
God,
through Oxford studies.
you got to be a troll. Like, you
Is
have
No,
this
to be a
available
no,
to
troll.
you
everyone
can
or
look.
just students, Uncle? Because there are databases that are only available to students.
Well, yes, I went to school there. Yes.
You
No,
went to
you're a
Oxford
troll. You're a troll.
University.
No,
Bullshit.
I actually did. Like, I can show you. Hold on, pause. Hold
Great.
on.
Well, hang on. Where is the University of Oxford? In what city? Let's start there. In what city is the University of Oxford located?
I'm
Good
sorry.
night, everybody. I'm gonna
I'll
jump
ask the
off.
question again. This is not. This is
Yo,
like an
I'm
entry
back
level.
here. Hold on.
This is
Hold on.
hang
I'm
on. This
back
is an
here.
entry level question.
Hold
In
on.
what
I'm back
city
now. Can
is the
you hold on there?
University
I
of
want to show you
Oxford?
something. Hold on. I want to show you this because I'm back
Ruckus.
now.
I'll ask again.
I went to go grab my degree. Will you please let me show
In
you
what
this? I
city
went to
is the
go.
University of Oxford
I
located in
listen.
your
Will
head?
you please? You asked me? You asked me to
You
prove it. Now
literally
I'm
don't
gonna
even know the
prove it.
city. I'm going
Pause.
to open this up
Pause.
to the
Will you
panel.
hold
Does
on
anyone
there?
want to guess
No, I'm refusing
in
to
what
answer your question because
city?
I have something to
And I'll
show
give
you,
you a
which I
clue.
was gonna show you before you asked your question. Now please be
NYU, New
quiet. Allow
York
me to show you
University
my
is
two
located
degrees.
in the
Will you
city
please be
of New
quiet and
York.
allow me
Does
to show
anyone want to
you my
guess
two
where
degrees?
Oxford
Will you
University is
please be
located?
quiet? I'm not answering your question because I was gonna show you something before you asked that
Because I'm
question.
not
I
even sure you
specifically
went to
said, "Hold
university.
on, I'm gonna
You're
be
All
right
talking
right,
to me
back."
show
like
me
he's
I
your
hiding from
specifically
something
said,
new.
"Hold on, I'm gonna
show
be
me your
right
fake.
back," meaning I was
Uncle,
finna show you
uncle,
something.
uncle,
So
Show
take
me
a
your
please
fake.
shut
breath.
up.
Uncle,
Like
take
I
a
clearly
breath. I
told you
just
I
want
was
to
finna show
point
you
out
something. So
He's
that
why
gonna
are
show
you
us
asking
something
me a
weird. He's a
question?
troll. I
And now
don't trust it.
okay, I just want to point out
No, his camera access isn't working.
I just want to point out that you came up here claiming that Irish was really uneducated and apparently you don't
I didn't make that claim.
Wait,
but you kind of
Lie upon.
kind of
I'm so confused. How did this go from talking about how problematic that Cloudy
Please
is to
do not
this?
lie upon me.
I didn't.
Well,
That's
I'm
what you
Saying
said.
that
guessing what seems to be the case
cloudy.
is that you were in a live that was talking about grape culture. It seems to be the same live that this guy came from. And it seems like this guy came over here in order to troll, and we're just being very
Yeah,
immature by entertaining it.
yeah, because
And
I
simple.
don't
I'm
know
gonna
what
be honest with you.
no, I don't know what he's talking about.
Like me,
He probably
you lie upon me. That's why.
Go ahead. You can finish your thought. Go ahead.
yeah. So just going to assume that he was in another live another day because when I was up there, he wasn't up there, and mind you, I was on Cloudy Live like 30 minutes ago, and it was only me and another woman up there. So I don't know where he's coming from. God Lord.
Look, he is a grape apologist who wants to push the narrative that most women are liars and that women should not be
Yeah.
believed when they have allegations of grape.
It's def-
And ordinarily, they're personally invested in that narrative for a bad reason.
yeah, it's definitely giving that he definitely supports what everything Cloudy is saying. Cause oh my gosh, that's literally what Cloudy was ranting about for the past 30 minutes. I was up there. Oh, women just be lying, this and that. Oh my gosh.
Why do I feel like these people may be from Cloudy as well? How can I help you two who are joining the panel now?
Hey, how you doing?
Max,
What's up?
what's your thought process?
Um, So I feel like false allegations alone, very much so can affect and ruin a man's life.
Again, but the topic doesn't say whether it doesn't say false allegations never, right? So it's admitting that it can. It's talking about the regularity of it, right?
Yeah, I mean it's very likely to happen. If a woman
Why do you
is,
believe that?
why do I believe that it can ruin can ruin a man's life? Is that
No,
what
you
you?
said it's very likely to happen.
Yeah, and
So
I said
why
it's
do you
very
believe
likely
it's
to
very
happen.
likely to happen to ruin a man's life if a woman falsely accused them?
No, so I wasn't done. I was gonna say it can ruin a man's life if the woman is like unstable or has something out against the man or is just kind of fucked up and just selfish. Like there's
Okay, I
several.
agree that a false allegation is selfish. I agree with that. But how does it regularly or more often than not ruin a man's life?
No. I was saying it's regular if the woman is like unstable, if she's like fucked up or selfish. Like
Okay, well,
then
how
it's not very
frequently
rare.
how frequently are false allegations brought by women that are fucked up based on what you're saying?
Probably a lot. It's just not. A lot of them aren't super big. Like a false allegation could be something as small as like lying and having just a group of people against a certain man, but then some can be like a false allegation of like grape or SA or something like that, such as like the Sean Oakman story and stuff. If you know who that is, so
Yeah, of course I do. What do you want to share about the Sean Oakman case?
I mean, he would have been. Personally, I think he would have been a superstar in the NFL. And then,
Why?
uh, you said why?
Yeah, why?
He was an amazing college player.
What year was he good in college?
I couldn't give you that off the top of my head. I just
Well,
remember
you said he would have been an
some highlights.
amazing NFL player, right?
I think he would have been, yeah, at least
Okay, are
pretty
are
good. He wouldn't have
you?
been average.
I mean, respectfully, you don't even know his record. I do.
His record,
Yeah. Do you know his record?
record as in what?
In 2014, which was I think that was his junior year, he had a fantastic year. He ended up getting 26 tackles and 11 sacks for the year. That was the year that he earned All American honors, and that was the year that he was a consensus All Big 12 selection. And people predicted at that point that he would be a first round pick. But instead of opting to declare for the 2015 NFL draft, he chose not to. And in his senior year, he had a huge drop off. In his junior year, I said he had 26 tackles and 11 sacks. In his senior year, he recorded less than 1/5 of those stats. Do you think the fact that he had a stellar junior year, which qualified him to be likely chosen as a first round draft for a draft pick for the NFL, do you think that that would have been impacted more by the fact that the next year he got less than five? Do you think that would have been impacted?
Yeah,
Okay, so why did you say that he would have went into the NFL? He would have been this great person when you didn't even know his next year, where he opted to stay on. He could have selected for the draft his junior year. He stuck around, and he had a shit senior year.
I mean, I wouldn't say shit. I mean, he was on a pretty good college football team, playing against pretty good teams.
There's lots of. How
He
many
probably
people
would
were
have
on
done
his
pretty
team?
well,
There's
huh?
about 50 people that were on his team. So it doesn't matter if you're on a good team. It matters whether or not you're an excellent player on that team. And his senior year, he was not a good player. He was not a
I
standout
wouldn't say he
player his
wasn't.
senior year.
Yeah, standout. Not being standout doesn't necessarily mean you're not a good player.
I mean, wait, are you telling me that a regular player on a decent team is going to be a first round draft pick in the NFL? Like, does that even make sense to you?
First round, it doesn't matter what round. I mean, look at Tom Brady. Like the round and pick has nothing to do with how
Well,
he
you're
would
the
have
one
done.
who said that he would have had this amazing career because he would have been a first
Yeah,
round pick. You
I
said that,
still
not
think he
me.
would have. Yeah, I did. I still think he would have been good in the
Okay,
NFL.
but you agree that NFL teams would not have favored him nearly as highly, given the fact that his next year he was not nearly as good. You would understand that they would be like, oh, one trick pony, he had one good season. Because the season before that, he didn't have a good season either.
Yeah, right. I see. I get where you're coming from, but I don't think you see that just because yeah he had one good season, then yeah maybe he fell off. A lot of players have done that, and a lot of
Yeah,
players
and
have
they
also
don't get
not had.
drafted.
Yeah, the NFL draft selects a
He
ton of
he he
players.
had he had 3 defensive interceptions in the 2014 year. He had 0 in his senior year. 0. He had 11 sacks in his junior year, the year that he was going to be an all around. The prior year, he had 2. The following year, he had 4. He had 1 good year. And the years before it and after, he sucked. But men like you regularly come up and said, "Oh, he would have been huge. He would have been huge."
I mean,
But he wouldn't have.
I know a lot about basketball. Michael Jordan had one good year in college, and he's the GOAT. So I
And
don't
Kobe
know.
Bryant also had one good grape allegation against him, and it didn't impact him at all, right?
Right, like I said, it's not always to
You know
happen.
about basketball, right? So tell me about
I
the
know a
Kobe
ton
Bryant
in
sexual
regards
assault
to in
allegation.
regards to what.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
and
you're saying
that.
that false allegations. I assume you believe that that's a false allegation, right?
Uh, I could not say that's a false allegation.
Okay, so then if it's a real allegation, you would agree it didn't ruin his life, right?
Right, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone else in the NBA? Because while I don't really watch the NBA, I have unusually become obsessed with NBA superstars in the past few months. So, name an NBA player that had sexual assault allegations that you think were unfounded that ruined them.
I know you're trying to get me with this one. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head,
Well,
but
if you know so much about basketball, what's the dress code for when the basketball players go to a game?
the kind of question is what? A dress code?
Yep.
I mean, I'm not sure there's a. I mean, they
There
kind
is
of.
a dress code. For
Yeah, I mean, they can't
NBA,
show
there's a
up
dress
without.
code.
Yeah, I mean, they can't show up without any clothes on. Like, I'm not sure, but I see a lot of how these NBA players be rolling up to the game, and they look like they got ready in the dark. Like, I'm not sure what you. I'm not sure where you're going with dress code. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything.
Well, all right. Well, focusing on people who have been accused of rape, did the sexual assault lawsuit against Dwight Howard ruin his life?
Ernesto wants up.
Did the sexual assault case against Hayes ruin his life? Because, like you said, you know
What'd you say? What'd you say?
cases where bad players have been accused of rape, and there really has been no consequence at all. But you seem to think that false allegations ruin lives.
Yeah, because they do.
Okay, I mean,
False
you
allegate. I
agree you
mean,
don't know of anyone in the NBA who was falsely accused whose life was ruined, correct?
say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Sure. You agree you don't even know a single NBA player. There's 400 people in the NBA, right? Every year. You don't know a single NBA player who has had their life ruined by a false allegation, correct?
Not that I know of. Correct. Yeah.
And the one example you brought up, Sean Oakman. Sean Oakman had a horrible senior year, which you just weren't aware of, but now you are. As for his allegation, why do you say it was a false allegation?
I mean, didn't it come back that it was false and she was lying? Excuse me.
Nope, it's never been concluded that she lied. She's never been charged. There was never her admitting that she lied. There was never objective evidence that she lied. Moreover, so like, A, there's no proof it was a false allegation. It's just assumed by a lot of people. And then the other issue is you're saying that his life was ruined. He had a really shitty senior year, and while he didn't get drafted into the NFL, where's he playing today?
Isn't he in some like random ass league or something?
Random ass league, earning millions of dollars per year. He ended up playing with the West Virginia Rough Riders. He played with the Bucks. He played with the Aces. He played with the Wildcats, and I think he's now with Edmonton Elks.
Yeah. What is that like?
He's
The
had a
Texas Valley?
solid. He's had a solid
The Canadian
playing
Football
career
League.
since 2018 until today. He has had a solid career, making millions of dollars. So, like, you can't prove it was a false allegation, and his life was not ruined. Unless you think a man who's got millions of dollars, his life is ruined, do you?
I mean, money's not everything, so I
Okay,
don't
so
really.
how is his life ruined? He's got men like you coming up here saying he never did it and the woman's a lying bitch. So how has his life been ruined?
Didn't quite say that, but
Well,
like I
you would
said,
agree that a
money.
woman who lies on a man is a lying bitch, wouldn't you?
If she's lying,
Yeah, and you said she's lying. So you said she's a lying bitch and you
I
didn't
asked
even
you. I
look
said
into
it.
the.
I said, did it come back as if she was lying or not? I
No,
didn't
that
really
was
say.
you trying to affirm what you already stated. You said it was a false allegation.
I said, was it a false allegation? I said I didn't know anything about it.
Max, you were asking these questions like you don't know. You came up here using Sean as an example. Now you want us to teach you about Sean?
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the host. So I
That's
don't know
fair.
what
No, but
answer
I
you guys
understand.
need.
he's a
But the
mod.
host
He is
didn't
a
let
mod.
me up, so
No, no. So basically, I don't know shit about the NFL. I heard about the Sean
great.
Oakman
Could you tell me
situation.
which season Michael Jordan had a the one good career in college? Which was it his freshman, junior, sophomore, or senior year?
It was his. What was it? No, was it sophomore? He was only in college for what, 2 years?
No, he was in college for three. In his sophomore and junior year, he had great seasons. So it wasn't just one season.
Yeah, right. My point being that just because you don't have one good season or two good seasons doesn't mean you can't
But
go to the next level.
the season that he declared, he had a great season.
You're right. Yeah, I get that. That doesn't change anything that I'm saying.
It definitely does,
It
considering that
doesn't though.
you used Sean Oakman, who had a very bad senior year.
Look at Tom Brady for example.
Okay, and
He was never
how many
that good.
Tom Brady's are there? How many Tom Brady's are there? How
How
many
many?
people come out that late in in the draft and have this kind of career?
It never happens.
So why are you using Tom Brady as an example?
Same thing could have happened with Sean Oakman. That's my point.
Could have happened.
That's
I
yeah,
also could
exactly.
have
That's
been
my
an
point.
astronaut.
Yeah, let's be realistic now. Sean Oakman.
I mean, let's be realistic. His
Yeah,
stats for his senior year were horrible.
you want to be realistic, but then
I
you want to
wouldn't
use
say
the
horrible
example.
though. He's
Wait,
still
You want
getting
to be
decent
realistic,
stats.
Max. You want to be realistic, and then you want to use the example of Tom Brady, somebody who was drafted the last day of the draft. Only player who's done that and is considered the greatest of all time, and you want to use him as the example?
Yeah, so you don't know if Sean Oakman was gonna be that as good as I said he was gonna be because this dude's claiming that yeah, just because he had a season that wasn't up to the season he had before, that he wouldn't have been nearly as good and teams wouldn't have taken him. That's
No,
my
yeah,
point.
he would not
Yeah,
have
and
been as
Tom Brady.
attractive. Of course he
Yeah, and
wouldn't be.
Tom it's just as Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't shit in college. He's the best football player of all time.
Tom Brady
Yeah,
was really good in college.
he was
I don't know
not.
where you're saying that
He
he
was
wasn't
not
good
that
in
good in
college.
college. Come
Where
on
did he
now.
get picked in the draft? Where did he get picked on the draft?
Wasn't he fucking like dead last or one of up
No,
there?
he wasn't.
Exactly. Well, no, exactly the point. So you said that he would have been a first round pick in the draft. And I'm
Who said
saying
that?
that given you did,
In regards to who? Tom Brady or Sean
no, in
Oakman?
regards to Sean Oakman, you said
I said
he
he would
was
have been a
going to be a
superstar in the
first round.
NFL. I said he was going to
No,
be a
no,
superstar.
that's
You
not what
said
you
he was going
said.
to be.
You
That's
said
not
he
what
was
I
going to be a
said.
first round pick.
I didn't say
So
that. You said that. I said
do
he'd
you
be
agree
good.
that had he been a much lower draft pick, do you agree that he wouldn't have nearly made as many millions of dollars as he would have otherwise made had he declared the year prior?
He would have. I mean, regardless of when or where he got drafted to,
If
he.
you
I
are
think he would
number
have made
one
more.
pick versus you being number 400, the
Yeah,
money
number
you're
one
getting is
pick
far
doesn't mean
less,
shit.
correct?
Number one pick doesn't mean shit.
You're telling me number one pick doesn't often get more money
No,
than the number
I didn't
400
say
pick?
that. I said number one pick doesn't mean shit. A lot of the
I don't
times,
know
the
how to
number
take
one
you
pick is
seriously.
not the best player in their draft.
All right. Is there any other argument? Sean Oakman was never found to be false allegation. Sean Oakman was not going to be a first round pick in the NFL given the fact that he had a shitty senior year. Sean Oakman didn't have his life ruined because he ended up going into Canadian Football League and has made millions of dollars playing very successfully up there. So and you don't seem to know anyone in the NBA. So is there any other examples you would have to show to me that false allegations regularly ruins lives?
I mean, the statement alone, false allegations can very much so ruin somebody's life. Like it's not rare to do
It
that.
can. I could
People can end up in jail.
I could also theoretically have sex with Angelina Jolie. The likelihood of that is not. It's rare. It's a very rare likelihood that I'm going to be able to do it. But I could. You're right. The possibility is there. The question is, what's the likelihood? What do you think is the likelihood of me being able to have sex with Angelina Jolie?
I wouldn't say that's on the same topic as if a woman is unstable, like I said, and
Really,
it's
what's
like
the
a
likelihood
ruin
of you going
someone's
to
life,
jail for false conviction for grape? Do you know you're more likely to be struck by lightning?
then to be what? Falsely
Falsely
convicted?
convicted of grape.
Right. So back to what I was saying. So false
The
allegations.
likelihood of going to jail, even if you actually grape someone, is still extremely low.
Right. So I like how false allegations. I like how that just is kind of focused on grape or essay. That can be in regards to anything in life. I just brought up Sean Oakman as an example.
Can be. What we're talking about is grape and essay.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what
well, that's not what the prompt says. That's what we started talking about.
the
So I'm
no.
addressing the prompt again.
The prompt is
Right.
specifically about essay.
So the prompt has
No, it
been
doesn't say
clarified
that
for you
though.
now. Prompt has
False
been
allegations
clarified.
about.
You can ask the question, and it is specifically about essay.
Well, it says false allegations alone rarely ruin men's lives. If it was about essay or grape, it said false allegations in regards to grape
It's
or
been
essay.
clarified. It's been clarified.
I mean, you had
The context
the
has
whole
been
space.
given. Move on. Damn. You whine more than my nephew.
Shut the
Shit.
fuck up. You just
Make
decided
me.
not to talk. I'll just give you a burger and you be quiet. Shut up.
Why did you respond like that with her?
Out of all
She ain't been
people.
because she ain't been saying shit all the time, and now the first thing she says, she's trying to give me attitude. Like I don't know
Well,
what
because
she's
you've
Because you
talking
made
sound
really
about.
stupid
dumb.
arguments. Like you
I
have
didn't make a stupid
objectively
You
argument.
made
I
sound
didn't
really
make a
stupid
dumb.
stupid
arguments.
argument.
Because you sound dumb, Max, because three people just had to clarify the same thing for you and you still tried to use the same talking point. So someone called you out. Get over it.
Christ.
My bad, Marley. Like
Yeah,
you
it
got
is
me
your
on that
bad.
one.
It is your bad.
Yeah,
So
my
can you
bad.
apologize to Magical for being a fucking prick for no reason and move on?
No, I won't. She don't
Okay,
need
you're
no
a bitch.
apology.
Okay, well, you're just a bitch. That's
Fuck
all.
you.
You're
You're a
just
bitch.
bitch made. You're
Nobody
bitch
hates
made.
that.
You're
Nobody
bitch
hates
made.
that. You're a bitch.
You're a
You're
bitch
broke.
made.
And
You're a
you're
bitch
broke.
made.
And you're
Why?
You're
broke.
a bitch made.
And you're broke. So it don't matter. You're
I
broke.
clearly am not broke. You're a bitch
You're
made
clearly
though.
broke if you got to pay for Photoshop. You're clearly broke.
Where am I paying for?
Photoshop.
Wait, wait. If I can pay
Is
for
this
Photoshop.
really
Photoshop,
your
Yes,
I'm
because you
clearly
ain't
comeback?
that
not
Is
broke
broke.
that
You
life.
really
fucking
your comeback
idiot.
to her picture?
What?
You
The
have
Wait,
a
hang
fuck?
you have a
on.
man's name. Be quiet.
As Max
His
has
name's
no
Ken
photo,
as a
right?
woman.
Because he's Max, you're
Max,
so insecure you
Max,
have no photo.
Max, can you turn on your camera?
Oh my god,
Yeah,
please
let's
do.
go.
Please
Turn on your
fucking do.
camera right
Max,
now.
Really
I'm
trying to
not being
see me,
smart.
man.
Max, put on your camera. Like I'm not being smart, right? But if you're going to be attacking how people look, right? I think like if I would never body shame a man ever. And if I ever did, I would turn on my camera so that I could be equally susceptible to them making fun of me. So I think it's fair, like if you're a man of integrity, that you would turn on your
A man
camera
of
in order
integrity.
to allow
That makes no sense.
Marley. Are you not a man of integrity?
I'm a man of integrity. I don't see what showing my face has to prove that,
Why are
though.
you
Because
ignoring
you're
Because
the
you just
fucking
invite?
ugly.
Nobody has to
Why are you
believe
ignoring the
believe that
invite?
there. The
Oh,
invite.
I don't believe it. I know it, Max. You're
I
fucking
didn't get no
ugly.
invite.
Yes, you
Go
did.
ahead.
Don't fucking lie.
Wait, who said
you're
ugly?
being
Here.
invited to turn on your camera and you're declining it.
Yep.
Do you see that?
No, nobody's sending me anything. If I could screen share right
Max.
now, I'd show you.
Like,
Max,
Max.
Max, do you want me to screen share and show you?
There, see now,
Here, I can
now
do it
somebody
again now.
there.
Hold on. I
Y'all
can
really
send
want
it
to see me?
again.
I ain't
Yeah,
finna
so
show y'all
turn on
my
your
face.
camera. Like,
Why y'all want to see?
hey, look, the women up
But
here
why
are
do y'all
very
want to see my face?
friendly
Let me ask you that.
Go
because
ahead.
you're coming at Marley, claiming that her photo is photoshopped. Like we know Marley, it's
Exactly.
not
Yeah, they've all
photoshopped.
seen me.
She was just on camera.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like
if
40
you,
seconds ago.
I mean, if you took that for real, then I feel bad because obviously I was joking. I can't
No, it
see you.
wasn't
Nigga,
obvious.
you
You just
definitely
Sounds.
weren't joking when
look
you
at the
came at
walk
both of
back.
us. So what are
The
you
walk
talking
back is
about?
Well, you were
crazy.
rude. She was low key
Max, I'm
kind
not
of
trying to
rude.
be rude, but like, please don't take this rudely, okay? But like, are you really unattractive and you don't want to submit yourself to bullying? In which case, I will respect that. Is it that you're just really unattractive and you don't want to submit yourself to bullying? And
No, so I'm gonna be completely
no, because I think
honest.
it's fair. Like, if he
No, no,
is
no, no,
worried
no,
about
no, no,
being
no.
bullied, he's allowed to protect himself.
No,
He's
so
insecure.
no, so two things. All right, three things. Number one, nobody insecure on here but you. Number two, I
Wait,
don't think I'm
why did
ugly,
I get
nor
straight? I'm trying to protect
I'm
you.
not.
What the
I didn't say
fuck?
you. I didn't say
Oh,
you.
I think you
You
said
were
but
jumping
you.
anyway. Don't worry,
No,
y'all.
no.
That's a
Somebody said
nice one, and
insecure.
that's crazy.
Somebody
Okay.
said
Irish, that was
insecure, so I said no. I'm not
calm down.
insecure.
I know
Number.
you are, but what am I?
Huh?
No, you
Wait,
are, but what
which
about
you
it?
are you referring to?
You basically just said
Max,
I
you're
know you are, but
clearly
what am I?
insecure because you came up here talking
Nobody's
bullshit.
insecure.
You only had smoke for the women on here. You had nothing to say to Irish, who's been like challenging you the entire
Yeah,
time.
but he
So
hasn't been
clearly you are
And how
disrespectful to
and
And
me
the
how the
before.
first
hell
thing
am
and the
I the
first thing
rude
you
one?
did
And Marley had the same
Hasn't given
energy
me
that I
attitude
did.
though. If you would
Right,
have
and
given
and
me
the
because
first
attitude,
thing
I
you
would give the
couldn't even
same
like
energy.
here's the thing, Max, you weren't even smart enough to overcome anything anyone said. You just straight up went for like looks. You're like, oh, Photoshop. And then when that didn't work out, you're like, oh, just kidding. Like
See,
you're fucking
Well,
stupid.
I'm
you
not
called
even
me a
sure. I'm
prick.
not
You
even
said I
sure how
was
Magical was even rude because all Magical said was, "It's been clarified to you. Move on. You're crying more than you're crying as much as her nephew. You don't know her nephew. You don't know how much her nephew's crying."
Yeah, right. So if you think somebody having a debate is crying, I think you got bigger problems
You are
than
crying
than
though.
worrying. This is
Yeah.
crying to you?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
You're
okay.
whining.
yeah, you're
This
You're
is
whining.
bitching.
whining.
You're
I'm
whining.
Yeah.
bitching.
Yes.
I'm
Whining.
bitching. Damn. You
Yeah,
Yeah.
think that? You think that?
yeah. Men are really emotional,
No,
and
I
I don't.
I'm not
observed it,
emotional
so
at
I
all.
know
I
it.
can't. You're
I
not
observed
affecting me
it.
at all. My
You did
blood
it.
pressure's
I've
going
been
down.
around too many children being raised to know when a child is fucking whining. You sound exactly
Nobody's
like them.
whining.
Max,
Nobody's whining.
you don't think you have emotions? Like that's scary. Do you
Nobody
really not
said
think you
that,
have
buddy.
emotions?
Nobody said that,
You
buddy.
said you're not emotional.
I said I'm not insecure.
This motherless
Okay, so you
behavior.
are emotional, correct?
Motherless behavior. Who just said that?
I said that. I said this motherless behavior that you are displaying is
I'll
astonishing.
co-sign it.
Don't speak my
So
mother,
you
though.
so
We
you
just did.
are
Now what?
Acting like you have
You wouldn't do that
motherless
shit in person.
behavior,
I believe
which
that you
means
would
that
not
you
do that shit
didn't,
in
you weren't,
person.
No, I
you acting like you weren't raised.
I
wait,
I would do
promise
I
what would you
would
do to
double do it in
Marley? What would you
person.
do to Marley if she did
wasn't
it
the
to you
one
in person?
saying it. The
No,
one,
I
the one with
co-signed
the
it. I'll
man's
say it.
name
I'll say it.
saying it.
I agree. It's motherless
What would you
behavior.
do to
And
Ken
honestly,
if she did
wait,
it in
Max.
person?
Max, if I was in person, I'd double say it. I'd mean it twice as hard.
Triple dog say
No,
it.
Yeah,
you wouldn't.
what would you do?
Yes, I
No, you
What would
would.
you
wouldn't.
do?
Everybody's tough
Yes.
behind the screen.
I do want to know
Everybody's tough behind the screen.
what are you going to do to me if I said that to you in person to your face? Because I
I said
would.
you. I said you wouldn't do it.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
she
I
but I
would.
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 I
Why
You
wouldn't
want
promise
me to
she?
say
you.
I would hit a
I
woman?
promise
Like
you, Max, she would.
you
But
want me
why
to say I'm
wouldn't
gonna
she?
hit a woman? Like that makes no
No, I
sense.
mean
I
she
know,
doesn't
we're
believe you
asking
would.
you.
That's why she would say it to you.
She'd say it
Yeah,
100% of
right.
the time.
So I'm a man, so I would hit a woman. That makes no sense.
No, we're
No, I
asking
just
you
said that
what
you
would you
wouldn't,
do?
which is why she would feel very comfortable saying it. Why wouldn't she say it?
Right,
You
I mean,
agree
I
you
would
wouldn't
feel
hit a woman,
comfortable
It's
right?
saying it
immature and
even
stuff.
if you did, if even if you fought women, because you know what? I wouldn't give a damn either way.
No,
So
if I
what
fought
about
women,
it?
you most definitely wouldn't say it. But
What about
Now
it?
it's triple motherless behavior.
yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Like
Triple.
Max, it kind of
right.
seems like unless you're willing to show your like, I'm not trying to be rude. I have been trying to protect you because they people up here are a lot more stabby than I am. But like, it does seem like
I love it
if
when
you are
Irish calls
physically
us stabby.
threatening, is there a reason why you wouldn't show your face to like prove it?
I want to know why you want me to show my face as a grown man who's twice my age. You want me to show
Because you came at their looks,
Twice you just
obviously.
I'm
told
only
you.
wait. I'm 22. How old do you
what I
think I
said?
am?
What I
Are
said
you
was
11? How old are you,
what I
Max?
said. Don't worry about my age. But what I
Max, I'm
said
22.
was
Wait,
a
hang on.
joke.
Seriously, are you a minor? Because you have to be 18 plus to be on. 19 plus to be on here.
No, I'm not a minor.
Okay.
How old are you? Can
Don't worry about that. I'm not a minor though.
you just share in the
Okay.
range? Like you
So can
like
you explain
Yeah, I'm around that.
why
I'm around that. I'm around that. I'll tell you that.
around what?
What she just
around
said.
around 18?
Around, but I mean, bro, I'm 19. Like, I mean, got me. I don't know.
Okay.
Just turned
Okay, so what
19.
I'm asking is if you believe Marley and Ken had their cameras on, right, which allowed you to make body shaming comments to them, and
No, no,
I'm
no. I didn't
not
say
coming
anything
at you
about
for that.
Ken. I said something about Marley, and I said it was a joke. So I don't say nothing about Ken.
Yeah, but I'm curious. I'm changing the topic a little bit. Are you like I'm genuinely trying to like empathize with you? Are you a bit insecure about how you look? Is this something
No,
like
not
you've
at all.
struggled with?
Not at all. I don't think I'm ugly at all. I don't think I'm the best
But
looking
do
guy in the
other
Let
world. I
us
people
don't think
think
I'm
you're
let us
ugly?
be
ugly.
the judge of that.
Nah, because I know I could show my face. I could be the most like
Beauty is in the eyes of the
perfect
beholder.
looking dude, and you would still say some shit.
Your
I mean,
energy is
not beauty is in the
hideous.
eyes of the beholder, and I'm not
That
gonna
part
hold
though,
you.
Marley.
Whoever told you opposite is fucking lying like a motherfucker.
Do
No,
you
so I
like
can't
do you
even.
like women,
Huh?
Max? Hold on, wait. Do you like women?
I do.
So have
Only
you
women.
been with women?
I have.
Okay, and what do they say about you?
I mean, I could keep them around, so
They fake it.
I must look decent. I mean,
Translate to they fake it.
she
If you're
see, we have a
19,
respectful
keep him
conversation.
around. Wait, keep him around in like how long? 3 months?
However long I want. I don't get.
How long has that been?
Keep them around like in the
Wait, what if
basements
Yeah,
or
what do you mean keep them around? Like,
wait, what if she doesn't want you around? Do you still keep her till you're done with her or what?
hell no, she don't fuck with me. I don't fuck with her. It's straight up simple as that. I'm confused what she's trying to get at by keep them around. Like, what do you mean keep them around?
You said
You
keep him
said
around.
keep
it.
them around?
Or what was your question? You said like
I
how
was
long do
asking
I
you how
still look?
long. Like, let's like say I don't know if you
Yeah,
want
how
to tell
long
me
is in
long
what? That's what I mean.
relationship. Have you been in like a long-term relationship? Is that what you're referring to?
No, I don't really do relationships.
Oh,
Shocker. How did I know that was coming?
I've been no
Shocker.
no 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 no. I've been in relationships. I just don't fuck with relationships.
Okay, so then what's the
I've had my
relationship?
bad luck of the draw. I'll just say that.
Just tell me one relationship then. How long? I'm just asking like a time frame. Is it like months?
Yeah,
Years?
Who's the common denominator in
I'm
that
gonna
though?
no. So I'm gonna be completely honest. It was not me. If you want me to explain why,
It's not you? Is that
no,
what you said?
no. I'll explain something. So first one. So I've been in three. I just graduated high school last year. I've been in three. First one was like childish. It wasn't really a relationship. Second one, Loki got done wrong, and third one was like right person, wrong time. So we both kind of mutually parted ways.
Done wrong how?
I ain't gonna lie. When I was like 15, 16, I Loki got cheated on.
And have you cheated?
I have not. I'm not that type of dude.
I don't believe that for a
Promise you.
second.
Right.
I promise you.
I've never met a guy that hasn't cheated
I would never.
yet.
I don't. That's me.
Not saying they're not out there. I just haven't met one.
No, I promise you.
I don't want to victim blame, but if you're claiming that you're so hot,
I didn't
is
say,
it
bro.
fair
Nobody
to?
said that, bro.
Well, you said
You
that women
did.
are pleased with you, so that's verification that you must be okay looking. And all I'm
Yeah. So
asking
what does
is
that have
like,
to do with me
isn't the
saying
fact
I'm
that you
hot?
got cheated on, wouldn't that suggest the opposite?
I was 15, bro. That was 4 years ago.
Oh, so you grew into your looks. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of looked like I used to look like shit, like really bad.
Okay, well I'm tired of talking about your looks. Let me see. I just sent you an
Why
invite.
y'all want to see my face, bro? If
I
you could
just
give
sent
me
you an
Because you
invite.
talk mad
okay.
shit, so now I want to see.
No, so respectfully, Marley, I apologize. I was joking, but I really do want to know why y'all want to see my face.
No, wait. Hold on. If you're
Everybody
going
was
on
coming at
You
me, so I just said
apologized to
it.
Marley,
wait,
but you didn't. Wow.
You have one more person to apologize to.
Was it Ken?
No,
No, it
Oh
was
damn.
magical that
Yeah.
you gave it.
magical.
I
It was a
apologize.
microaggression, and you need to not do that.
No,
It's
you're right.
only
You're right.
1 hour into Black History Month, y'all.
Yeah, she's a black woman, and you purposely were rude to the only black woman on here that you perceived
Nah,
as a little
you
bit
right.
of.
You right. I'm a grown man. I apologize, magical. You do look beautiful. I like your hair too. So yeah.
Don't make me punch you.
Nah, I'm
Max,
being dead serious. I promise. I promise. I
And
promise.
she
Max, can I ask you?
The
Max, if I can
hair?
ask
Stop
you,
it.
Yeah. What's
Why
up?
the hair?
do you do you do you like the tattoo on your left hand?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. No.
Yeah, I
Hair
don't blame
tattoo.
you. Why did you go so colorful with such
He's got
odd
pictures.
circus colors?
What do you? What?
Wait, where do you see a tattoo?
You did some really like odd circus colors. Like it's really odd colors that you chose for your tattoo. Like it's too colorful for a.
Too colorful.
Where the
Yeah,
hell is it?
you don't disagree?
I can tell you're like messing with me, bro, but it ain't colorful.
It's pretty colorful.
I mean, if you consider me, bro, but it ain't colorful.
It's pretty colorful.
I mean, if you consider,
The purple bleeding into your wrists.
yeah, that's
What do you
not
mean?
purple.
That's purple.
Do you have any tattoos, bro?
The purple, the greens, the blues. There's a lot of color here.
Yeah, I did not get green, blue, or nothing. It's dark
Maybe the
ink on me.
tattoo's fading or something.
Must be.
So what do you not like about the tattoo?
yeah.
It was kind of an impulsive decision, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I would agree. Have you thought about getting it removed?
Ain't nobody been disrespectful to you, so I don't know what you coming out hostile to me for.
That's
No,
a
you
damn
said you didn't
lie.
like the tattoo, right?
Yeah, so you said something about like basically it
I
makes
said I
sense.
agree. I understand where you're coming from. I'm
Yeah, so why do you agree
validating you.
why do you agree that I don't fuck with my own tattoo? Why do you agree?
I'm validating you.
You don't need to validate me though.
Okay, it's a
I'm
gorgeous tattoo. You should be very happy with your decisions.
right. I'd rather you
Does it make you feel
say
better? I don't
that
quite
than
understand.
no, it doesn't make me feel better. I'm confused as to why. You said something about my tattoo.
I was just curious. That was all.
Wait, I have another question, Max. Hold on.
Yeah,
I
what's
want to
up?
know, have you ever been accused in any way?
You said accused
Mm-hmm.
of
Of
what?
sexual assault.
No, hell no.
Any of your friends?
No, hell no.
Okay, so why do you have this like where you think that it happens commonly to men where they're getting it's you know getting falsely accused and it's ruining their lives?
I just feel like, I mean, now that we're talking about in regards to grape and essay, then my opinion's a little bit different. But I thought it was the whole general idea of getting accused of anything.
So
How's
what's
it
your
different
opinion?
now?
But I didn't find that out till about 10 minutes ago. So
That's fine.
I've
So,
been
what's your
relaxing
opinion
a
now?
lot. Let me read it again.
There's been a lot of people come up here. I just want to be clear. You're not the guy who came up here talking about Sean Oakman.
What did you say?
You're not the guy who
Sean
was up here
Oakman.
talking about. Yeah, that was not you, right?
Yeah, that was definitely me.
No, he was.
Oh, okay. Well, that was an essay allegation, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just brought that up, but then I was gonna address other things until you guys told me that this prompt was in regards to essay and grape. I
Once
thought it
you
was
lost that, you were like, "Oh, well, it's about other things too."
no, that's what I came up to say, but then Sean Oakman came to my mind, and I was like, oh, Sean Oakman. I was gonna say. I mean, if you want to get into that about false allegations regarding other shit, I could.
Which other ones were you going to say?
False allegations about lying could ruin. I mean,
Yeah, but
get
which
people.
ones? You said you were going to use other ones, other examples. Which other ones were you going to say?
What?
Which other ones? You said you were going to use other ones. Which other ones were you
Yeah,
going
we
to say?
don't want to limit your freedom of speech. What were the other things you wanted to bring up that you haven't brought up yet?
In regards to anything, right?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So false allegations. I mean, do you want to give me like straight up examples, or do you want me to
Whatever it
just
is
go
you
around the
wanted to
circle?
share.
I mean, I'll
You
just.
said you had you already knew what you were going to say, but you.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna address the
Yeah.
lying thing.
Which
Yeah,
other
my
ones?
main thing was the lying thing. A false allegation as in lying.
Is that your sneeze, Magical?
Magical, that sneeze is so cute.
I know, like it really is.
I
A false
will
allegation
put
as in
you
lying
guys
could
in the
ruin somebody's
chokehold.
life.
Like, thank you, but I will put you guys in the chokehold if
Okay,
you
I love you. It's terrible. I love you, sneeze.
You hear me?
No, say it again.
No, I said a false allegation as in regards to lying could ruin somebody's life, or do a lot of damage to somebody's life.
And you were going to provide an example for that, right?
I mean, you could lie. I mean, anybody can lie about anything
Like
and get
how?
somebody,
So give me an example of how
get
lying could
somebody,
ruin a
get
person's
somebody
life.
arrested, get it on your record until you go to court. That happens
Arrested for
probably all the
what?
time. Anything, literally anything.
Be
Wait,
more
hold
specific.
on, I have a question. If you're arrested for something, does it go on your record if you're like say I'm arrested for shoplifting and I have to show up in court and like prove that I'm like innocent or guilty or whatever? Is it on my record just for being arrested?
Not on your record, but
Okay,
I
then I'm
mean,
curious.
no. So they can take the picture. Let's say you have a really good job. Your boss sees that, you're fired. Now you're without a job. All because you may
How would
not
your
have done
boss?
something.
How would your
How
boss
does
find out about something where there's no record?
right? But
A mugshots
that
go around
were
before people are
hold on,
convicted of a crime
Max, even if
all the
that were
time.
the case though, really fast, I don't understand like how that ruins someone's life. Can't they just get another job?
Some people can't. To be honest,
Oh, okay.
Do you know which? I'm not sure. I'm not sure which companies will go through their employees that they already have hired. They're going to go looking for mugshots. Is there a
no,
database for that?
no.
Where
So you realize they don't have to go look. Mugshots are around everywhere. Mugshots can be on Facebook, on the internet. Some people like myself sometimes just check like my local news and can see who got arrested. I see that they may have got convicted for a crime that they didn't actually commit. If I was the boss of a huge company, and I were to see my like a manager that was below me, but still had a very high role into the company, and I were to see that, and even though they didn't get convicted, or they got convicted, but they didn't actually do it, then I could fire them, and that could ruin. Like, what if they have kids? What like That should probably happens. That should probably happens a decent amount of time, and that's just in regards to the jail itself.
Well, I really would like some examples because I mean, it seems like you say it happens a lot, but you can't provide an example of that.
I mean, if you give me a minute, I'll be on the teacup. I could find you several examples.
W, we'll wait.
Oh, you wait. I won't be kidding.
Yep.
Can
Yeah,
y'all
we
hear
can
me?
we can entertain ourselves while
Can
you
y'all
look.
hear me when I'm out of the app or no?
No.
You can hear us,
No.
but we can't hear you until you come back.
Yeah, so you'll hear us talking shit about you, but we can't hear you.
Don't be tempted to come back. Just do what you gotta do.
I would never do that, and I will protect you in the meantime.
Shut up, Art.
He will
The
try,
savior. The savior.
and he will fail.
Who's this guy? HYZ. What's your name? Or Hello.
Hello?
Hello? HYZ is still loading in. I think they're having a slight problem loading.
You were so confused, boss lady.
Like, do I want to ask his age? Do I want to say? I didn't know what to say.
Hello.
What was hello?
I just found a few off of a broad search.
A broad search is crazy.
Oh, you guys are funny tonight.
Oh, y'all are funny. Y'all be
I
everybody but Ernesto.
Hello?
Wait, my bad. Did you hear what I just said or no?
No, we didn't hear you.
Oh shit, my. So hold on.
When you're outside the app, we're not able to hear the words you're stating.
All right,
Not
guys.
at all.
Nah, so there's
Sounds like-
some dude named Andre. I just forgot his last name, but he was in prison for 31 years for grape and murder that he did not commit. He was in prison for 31 years. That ruined
You
some.
said his
That
name was
ruined some of his-
Andre. What was the last name? I can look it up.
Andre Davis.
And who lied on him? You said it was like a person that lied on him.
1 second.
Wait, but if it was for murder, then it couldn't have been the victim that falsely accused.
Yeah, I'd also like to just make it. I want to know. Never mind. I'll wait.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That just reminded me. I see all these videos about people who are in prison or jail for 30, 40, 50 years, and then the government compensates them with money, to basically pay them back for the time they did. That ruins people's lives. I don't know about you, but I don't want $10 million
that's
sit for
exceptionally.
Yeah, it's rare.
As I said previously to you,
I wouldn't say that's rare though.
Max, I told you previously that the best estimates say that you are more likely to be struck by lightning than to be falsely convicted of grape in America.
Yeah, but this was a lot of these I'm seeing are, I don't know what I can't murder.
Yeah, but we're talking about false convictions regarding grape.
Oh, bro, somebody.
We're only talking about SA. We're only talking about SA and grape.
Bro, somebody 2 minutes ago was like, "All right, what else do you have?"
No, we asked him because he said that.
Yeah, Ernesto said something else.
Yeah, we asked him that. Okay, about how
no,
many?
but I thought you asked what was he going to show previously. What was his examples? Well, we're not asking you to go find examples. I thought, Ernesto, were you not saying what were the examples you wanted to share?
Why? What? Yeah, I mean, he said that he was going to have. He had other examples outside.
Yeah, he
of that.
said he had a
to
couple
look for
others.
them.
Yeah.
But if you were going to have a conversation before coming in, wouldn't you have already had those examples?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Well, no. Yeah, but I didn't know this was in regards to grape and essay. I thought it was in regards to everything. But when we
Yeah, but you would have had those examples though, right? Anything else, you would have had.
Yeah,
Those
but then I just found out now 15 minutes ago that it was all of this was in regards to grape and essay.
Yeah, and then that's when I asked you if you would just provide the examples that you were going to use outside of essay and grape, and you had to go look for them, so you didn't have them at the ready.
I didn't know the people's name off the top of my head. These are like
you didn't have anyone's stories either. You only had Sean Oakman.
You only had Sean.
I mean, isn't there a movie based off of this? Like, what is it, Green Mile or something like that?
Hang on.
False.
Are you saying that you came equipped to discuss this topic by bringing up Sean Oakman and the Green Mile, which involves a man who resurrects a mouse who died?
No, I must be thinking of a different movie. But Sean Oakman. I think I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the movie. I'll find it in a
Because you
second. But
understand that while the Green Mile may have some factual basis, it's based upon a very large man who was an angel who was able to breathe life into dead things.
let me see. Let me see.
I don't think it was really very accurately based on a true story.
Nope.
There were some liberties taken, is my point.
There might have been.
It was a
Yeah,
good
I'm just saying
movie.
there
Yeah,
were
it was.
some
That's what it
liberties
was. It
taken.
was Green Mile.
No, it was. I said it was based on a true story. What I'm saying was there were some liberties taken in that story. That may not be the best example to bring up. Is, you could bring up the true story it's based upon, but bringing up the Green Mile, the movie, is
No,
not
yeah,
very
but
helpful.
I mean, I thought you would kind of get what I'm saying. I don't know like the exact
Okay, so
person. I
tell
know
us
Green
about
Mile
the
is based
Green
off of a true
Mile.
story.
So tell me about the story that Green Mile is based on, Max.
Wasn't it based off of like this man offed two girls?
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it was a false conviction, and then he get put to death
Okay,
for it.
go
Oh,
on.
my bad. I did not mean to say that. He
You
got
didn't
put
mean to
to
say what?
DATH. I don't know what I can't say on here.
Usually say unalive, but just
Un-
keep going.
got put to his own unalive. Yeah. So wasn't that? I think that's what Green Mile is based off of, is it not?
Okay, and was there a false allegation in Green Mile?
Yeah.
What was the false allegation?
What I was just saying that he actually didn't do that.
But who accused him? I thought you just said that it involved two people who were unalived. So the two people who were unalived didn't falsely accuse him, right? You understand there's a distinction between a false allegation and a false conviction, right? So for someone to
Right.
go to jail wrongly doesn't mean there was a false allegation, right? Like I assume you know that.
No, yeah, I do. But I mean, it goes both ways. False allegations or false convictions. Even false convictions.
No, 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 no. It does not go both ways.
Yeah, I
It
People
does.
go to
don't.
jail all the
It does go
time
both
in the
ways.
no.
Yes, it
People
does.
go to people go to jail all the time absent a false allegation. So the one that you're talking about, the Degree Mile is based on, it's Stinney, I think is the name of the person, and in that case, it was the unaliving of two white women, and the two white women didn't falsely accuse Stinney in that situation because they were unalived.
Well,
So there was
yeah,
no
right.
false allegation because there was no victim to make a false allegation, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, so it was a false conviction.
Yeah, that's not a false allegation. The
Yeah,
backdrop
but
does
well,
not
no,
talk
no,
about
no.
false
I'm not talking
convictions.
about.
It talks
Yeah, I'm
about
talking
false
about the
allegations.
right, but I'm talking about in whole is what I'm talking about. There can be false allegations. There can be false convictions.
What
I'm
what do
not
you think a false allegation is? Maybe that will help.
like basically saying something that didn't happen, something false. I mean,
No,
as simple
false
as
allegation is where
that's
a purported victim claims that an incident happened,
that. Yeah,
and
I said it
and
summed up though.
no, it's really important to know the false
I mean, it's
conviction
it's
has to
somebody
come
saying
from the
something happened when
victim.
it really didn't happen. It causes harm to somebody
That's
else.
not a
I mean,
false allegation.
in regards to
That's
legal
fake
stuff.
news. It's fake news, but a false allegation requires a victim to be knowingly lying. So like a false, have you heard of like a false ID? Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
That's not a false allegation. Things that involve mistake aren't false allegations. False allegations is where the person is knowingly lying. And as I
Right.
said, in the I think Stinney case, there was no victims to knowingly lie. The knowingly lie has to come from the victim for it to be a false allegation. If I was to say right now that I know that you raped another woman, that's not a false allegation because I'm not the person accusing you of doing it to me. If I said that you raped me and that was false, then that would be a false allegation. If I claim instead that you raped someone else, that's not a false allegation because the false allegation requires the victim to be making the claim. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. That's just like a
Yeah,
false
so the
statement.
Green Mile doesn't involve false allegations.
I mean, isn't it based off of a false conviction though? Doesn't the dude
Did
get
I
put to
did I,
death?
did I
Or
just have a
get put to
conversation with
unalive?
myself?
Yeah, I mean, he got put in the movie. He gets put to his own unalive, like he gets unalived.
Correct, but
Yeah,
not because of a false allegation.
yeah, of a false conviction.
Yeah, which is not a false allegation. Those are two
Yeah,
different
right.
things,
But
is
I
what I'm
wasn't I
saying.
wasn't saying they're the same things in regards to Green Mile. I'm
Okay,
saying
so if you Ernesto said, what were the cases that you came prepared to talk about? And so far, the two that you've mentioned are Sean Oakman, which we've explained why that doesn't make much sense,
I don't know shit about
and
Sean Oakman. I just
and
brought him up.
Stinney, which you also don't know much about, which also doesn't involve a false allegation. So was there any other case you plan to talk about?
My bad. I left that. Yeah, we can talk about the one I was just talking about.
Which one? The
You said I
Green
can't.
Mile
No,
person?
no, no. You said I can't. You can't hear me when I'm out of the app.
Yeah, we can't hear you once you leave the app.
All right, let me try to summarize. Hold on. Let me leave the app and try to summarize it and come back.
Can you re-invite that HYZ? He said he wants to come back up and he's been yapping in the comments. Can you re-invite that H?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hang on.
Thank you.
Okay, he's invited up. Yeah, he's in. All right. What's up, HYZ?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
So should I start talking or should I let Max talk?
No, sure. Max is gone, so go ahead.
Alright, fine. I just thought that false allegations and false convictions is the same. So is there difference between them?
Yeah, a false allegation is ordinarily understood as when a victim knowingly lies as to a crime taking place and as to the alleged perpetrator. So HYZ, if I said right now that HYZ raped me, that would be a lie, correct?
Yeah, because I've never met you.
And yep, so and because I'm claiming to be the victim, and you know you never met me, I'm knowingly lying on behalf of myself. That would be a false allegation. However, if I was to say, hey, HYZ, I know that you raped these other people, that would not be a false allegation because I'm not the victim. I'm
But
not
how?
the
Because
person
you
who's
have no
claiming to
proof
have been harmed.
that you have no
Yeah,
proof
it's
that
a
I have.
lie. It's a lie, but a lie is not always a false allegation. A false
Okay, I
allegation
think
is
I
like a
have an
term of.
example though. I think I have an example.
Okay, go ahead.
So do you know when CR7 Ronaldo he was accused and they had the whole trial and everything?
Sure. What
Yeah,
about it?
that was a false allegation, isn't it?
How did it ruin his life?
It didn't ruin his life, but I'm not like trying to say that it ruined his
Okay, so
life,
it
but
didn't
it
ruin
could
the.
have.
So
It could
okay,
have
but it
because
didn't, right?
it could have given him like he could have gone to prison. He could have
But
like
it
lost.
didn't.
He probably lost like a few of his contracts as well.
I could have married Angelina Jolie. I could have, but I didn't.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there's like a word for it, like when someone slanders you and like you get like
Yeah,
negative
slander and
PR.
defamation. What about it?
Yeah, so isn't that like a negative consequence of false allegations?
Yeah, nobody said there's no negative consequences. What it says is their lives are not ruined. As for Ronaldo, as far as I know, the
This
case
may
that
be
you're
big
referring
box.
to.
He may not know the prompt.
Oh.
Big box yourself.
As
So
for Ronaldo, this may be my ignorance. I don't think it was ever proved that that was a lie. Am I wrong? I don't think it was proved it was
No,
a lie.
it was proved because they dropped all of their whatever you call it.
Dropping the charges doesn't
Yeah,
mean that
dropping the charges.
it was false.
Yeah, because they had no evidence. That's why.
Okay, but that doesn't mean it's a lie. You understand that, right?
Um, I don't know. Like they just like accused him for like money and stuff. Like I don't think they had any evidence to begin with.
The person's testimony is evidence. You can say they didn't have sufficient evidence to get a conviction, but the person's testimony alone is evidence.
I don't know.
It is extraordinarily difficult for a person to lie and be able to sustain that lie in the face of even a basic attorney's cross examination.
Yeah, but they didn't go to cross examination or anything
Okay, so how do you know it was a lie, is my point.
because they like dropped the charges before they even got into like
I
all
don't
of
believe
that.
there were criminal charges ever brought. Wasn't the whole point it was a hush money case?
I'm not sure.
You do understand that Ronaldo admitted that the grape accuser said no before it all happened. It's just that Ronaldo said that after the fact that
He
she
said that.
said
Now he said
yes.
that they were all consensual.
Yeah, I found the thing.
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, there it was. So, in the documents dated September 2009, Ronaldo was quoted as saying, "The victim said no and stopped several times during sex." He also admitted to apologizing to her afterwards. Did you know that Ronaldo admitted that the victim said no and stopped multiple times during sex? Did you know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's fair enough. Like, I'll research more on that. I apologize
Yeah,
for that.
the Ronaldo one was a case more so of the allegation was extortion, was that she was trying to get money out of him. But the false allegation, like that, was never shown to have been a false allegation. Now,
Yeah,
Ronaldo
well,
denied it.
I saw a video of him saying that it was all consensual and everything. So I'm
Yeah,
confused.
but there's also documents from when he signed the settlement that he admitted that she said no.
Yeah, fair
I mean,
enough.
this is a report I'm looking at right now. The New York Times reported this. So I'll read it here very quickly. The victim, who has said she was fearful of public backlash, opted instead to initiate civil proceedings against Ronaldo in the weeks that followed. Documents obtained by the website Football Leaks in 2017 revealed that the lawyer representing the victim contacted Ronaldo's legal team later in 2009. A series of questionnaires, it is alleged, were filled out by Ronaldo, with the quote footballer claiming sex had been consensual. However, in the documents that dated from September 2009 and sent to the New York Times, Ronaldo was quoted as stating, quote unquote, "She said no and stopped several times during sex." Ronaldo also stated that he apologized afterwards. However, Ronaldo does claim that the sex was ultimately consensual. But don't you think of maybe I'm wrong. Like I don't want to be lying. Like I don't remember really hardly any times that a woman has ever like said no and stop during sex. Has that happened to you? Has that happened to you?
I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it. Like, I've never done that, basically.
Okay, no problem. But you agree that I
Like,
hope you would understand.
I'm a virgin,
Okay, no problem. But
basically.
virgin, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you understand that that would be, I can only say from my own experience that that is unusual, and I would say that specifically he said, quote unquote, she said no and
Yeah, if
stopped
she said no, then that means
several times.
yeah. If she said no, then that means it's not consensual.
Well, he argued that she ultimately said yes. And so this is what you call a grape by coercion, which is where someone says no, they don't want to do something, and you talk them into doing it. But it's not that you're talking them into doing it, it's that you're coercing them, you're pushing them to do something.
I don't know what that means, to be honest.
Well, think of it this way: if you had a woman, would you feel embarrassed if she kissed you and made out with you, and then told all of her friends that she hated kissing you and didn't want to kiss you, and that she thought you were ugly, but she just did it to make you happy? Would you feel embarrassed by that?
Yeah, probably.
Would you feel embarrassed if she didn't tell people, but afterwards she felt, ugh, I didn't want to kiss him, he's so ugly, and she just felt that way?
Well, if I don't know about it, then how can I feel embarrassed about it?
Well, I would feel embarrassed if a woman made out with me and she didn't want to, because it would make me feel pathetic.
But how would I know that she didn't want to?
Well, let's just say you knew, but she didn't tell anyone. Like, let's say she wrote it in a diary. I made out with HYZ. I didn't want to, but he, made me feel guilty, and it was so unpleasant, and I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I'll
That
probably
you
feel bad about it.
Okay, and you
HYZ
would, well, sorry, Max,
HCZ.
just one sec. You
My
would
bad.
agree that you would much prefer to open a diary, and the woman says in the diary, made out, really enjoyed it, really wanted it, was really excited for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the key issues with consent that a lot of men don't understand is that because we're told that women don't want to have sex, we think that we have to pressure them or talk them into it or trick them into it. But that's not the case. If a woman wants to have sex, she's going to have sex with you, right? So if a woman says no, you should just sort of let it go. just don't push it, right?
Yeah, I
But a lot
agree.
of men will think I have to push her, but by pushing her, you're really trying to get someone to do something they don't want to do. And to me, putting even aside the fact that you're hurting someone, putting aside the fact that you're creating harm, why would you want to have sex with someone who, when they're thinking about it, is thinking unpleasant things about you? To me, that's humiliating as a person. And so to me, like, it's harmful to be a rapist and also pathetic. But there's a lot of men who justify it in their head, thinking that they have to push the woman to do it because they don't want to do it. But why would you want to lie down with someone who doesn't want to lie down with you?
I think it's like some men like they can't control their desires and stuff, so they just want to like they do like anything they can do to like get her in bed. At the end of the day, they will try and do it.
Yeah, that's their end goal, and they will justify a lot of really harmful behavior in order to do that. And it
Yeah,
sounds like you disagree with that.
yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really positive thing.
Yeah, my bad though. I didn't realize that. What's it called? I didn't realize that
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. He didn't have consent and stuff. I thought that he was like innocent.
Well, to be clear, he said that it was consensual because she said yes later. But a lot of people would say if they say yes later, it means they never wanted to do it.
One sec. They're saying in the
Let me
comments that
rephrase it this way. HYZ, let me rephrase it this way. If you had to beg someone to be your friend, wouldn't that be pathetic? Wouldn't
no,
that
but
be wrong?
I think friendship and like this is completely different.
I mean, I don't. I think of it as intimacy. And I think of intimacy and friendship. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Hammer. What were you going to say?
When it comes to this is what I usually like to use as an example, right? Have y'all ever had that one sibling that if your mother or father told them no to something, and then they just repeat it, and then they just cave in just to get them to stop talking? It's like that. That's usually what I compare it to. The
I
mother
was
did,
the younger child, so I was that sibling. Thanks for that.
yeah. But yeah, that's usually how it is. Like the mother or father didn't want to do it in the first place; they're just doing it just to keep you quiet.
Thomas Kennedy.
Max, have you been searching another case?
My bad. Yeah.
All right, I'm about to eat some Frosted Flakes before I go to bed. So if someone else wants to research, what's the name? All right,
Let me. Thomas Kennedy.
okay. Is he someone who went to jail?
He did 9 years, I
Okay,
think.
nobody's saying people don't go to jail.
Oh shit. My
Nobody's
bad.
saying people aren't falsely convicted. We never said that's not the argument.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. My bad if I've been delayed. I low key smacked my shit too many times. If you know
What?
what. Like no, not like that. Like
What the fuck?
no, not like that.
Wait, let me remake
Like yeah. Like
it.
no, not like that, not
Just
like
say
that.
you're elevated, bro.
Yeah, but I don't know what I can and can't say.
Listen, they don't know what it means when you say elevated shit.
My bad. Yeah, I'm elevated right now,
Don't
and
say it like that.
it's 4 a.m. where I'm at, so I'm like tired of that, and I'm hungry. I'm hungry as shit. I don't even know. So my bad if I've been delayed. I don't even know. For need to chase. Hold on.
I'll drink some water.
No, but yeah.
Y'all get on my nerves.
Hey, Magical, we good? Huh?
You should see the look I'm giving my phone right now.
I know
Um,
you probably side
Wait,
eyeing it.
Max, can I be real for a moment? Do you like Magical?
Yeah, she cool. I don't got a problem with her.
Yeah, well, I was just curious. I was kind of reading the room.
Why? Why? Why are you wondering?
No, I was just wondering if I was reading it right. That's all.
What were you reading it as?
I'm just reading it as people being friendly. Nothing more. Nothing insidious. I promise you. Nothing creepy. Nothing wrong.
I
You're
mean,
trying not to laugh
magical.
right now.
No. I mean,
I
magical.
hear
Are we
it.
magical? Are we cool? Like not like that, but like
Why do you want to be cool with me so bad?
I don't. I'm just saying we good. Like I apologize to you. Like,
Why?
bro, I'm not flirting, bro. I'm just making sure we straight.
What's your form of reparations?
Got any coins?
I do actually. I was thinking because I low key owe y'all back. I got 9 coins. Y'all want me to send them?
Let's get magical up to 9 coins.
Yeah, I don't know
Nine.
how to add. I don't know how to do any coins. I'm kind of new to TikTok, so I don't.
Wait, he called Ken broke earlier.
Well, I don't put. I don't. My form of currency and money is not through TikTok.
Oh, hold on, Max. Molly, when JR came up here, he was like, yeah, Irish, I can talk to you now because Molly's not here. I couldn't talk when she was here, so I couldn't get my point across. So that's why I messaged you. I was hoping you could come and interrupt him again.
The DMs with Molly and JR have been wild.
It's so funny. Oh my god. When he was complaining about her not being here, I messaged her like, he's asking for you. I wanted her to come up so bad.
Wait, could I ask a question?
How
Did
about
any of
this?
y'all? Huh?
We are cool as long as from here on forward you refer to me as goddess. Thank you.
Nah, I got one guy. I can't do that.
Oh, and you're religious? What are you,
I'm,
Christian?
I am. I'm Christian.
Okay, I wanted to ask you something earlier, and I
What's
don't
up?
remember. We
Then
got
we're
on this.
not cool.
We got on this.
That's cool.
Whatever. But so if let's see, would you say that you believe SA victims when they say that they've been raped?
Um, I mean, I don't like believing stuff unless I find out that it's 100% true
What?
because
Wait. When do we
Didn't you say
ever
you're? Didn't you
find
say
out
you're
for
Christian?
100%?
I am Christian.
Okay. When did you determine 100% truth that the God of the Bible exists?
Right.
I mean, day I was born. I've been a. I know. Ken, you give me weird looks.
You didn't
I
even
know.
comprehend shit as a baby. What the hell are you
I
talking about the
didn't,
day
but
you
I
were
grew. I
born?
grew. I grew into it. I mean, when I really realized, it was probably like 7, maybe 6. But
You were probably one of those bobble-headed ass babies too.
Papa.
bow.
You're talking about you knew God was a thing, but when you were born, when you probably didn't even know how to hold your damn head up when you were a baby. You,
No,
do you not
I
have?
was
Do you
actually
not
very.
know how that works growing up?
Nah, I was actually very ahead of my age. I'm actually very ahead of my age, believe it or not.
I don't.
Okay, believe it or not, I've
We
been.
don't
Believe
believe
it or
it.
not, I've been in the Olympics. I was in the Olympics when I was
The
younger. So
Olympics,
I was
really?
Wait, holding the flag doesn't qualify you to say I
not
was
the
in the
flag,
Olympics.
not the flag. I was playing a sport. I was in the Olympics.
Sitting in the bleachers.
Nobody was in the bleachers. I started, and I was good too.
Doing what? What'd you do?
I'm not gonna lie. Well, not anymore. I play soccer.
You
What'd you
played
do in the
soccer?
Olympics? What is it? Soccer
Yeah,
or?
soccer. And I've been overseas and played academy soccer. So I'm I'm legit in soccer. I could say that.
Did you get a scholarship to college?
Okay, I'll answer your question, but then I'll explain. So no, because I don't want to play. I don't want to play soccer anymore. I feel like I don't want to play the sport. I did too much. Somebody said the Olympics for having a
Wait, but
stuffy nose. Yeah, bro, I'm sick.
wait, did you get an offer for a scholarship and turn it down, or did you just not get any offers?
Well, I didn't play my last year of high school, so there was no chance of me getting an offer. Yeah, junior year, I was gonna go to camps and stuff, but I didn't. I mean, yeah, I've got emails,
Are
but I
you
didn't.
in college?
No, I'm not. I run my own business though. I
Well,
want.
I love it. I didn't ask.
I mean, you asked if I was
Wait,
in college, so I said what I was
yeah.
doing otherwise.
What
Otherwise,
kind
Wait,
of
how'd you do
business?
all this stuff in high school?
do what in high school? My business?
You said no when you said the Olympics and you said you were overseas.
No, I didn't. No, yeah, overseas was not in high school.
What kind of business do
But
you have?
you literally are. What do you mean you just stopped going to high school?
No, yeah, I stopped playing high school soccer when I was younger. I didn't.
You also just said you stopped doing soccer. I'm so confused.
Wait,
Yeah,
So like,
I stopped playing soccer when I was 18. So yeah, last year I stopped playing soccer.
you're 19, bro.
Yes, I
Like,
stopped playing soccer last year.
no, gotcha. But you said you were in the Olympics, right?
oh
Yes.
my god.
The Tokyo Olympics.
No, not the Tokyo Olympics.
Which one?
Shit, the United States Olympics.
Everybody hold back on the joke. Everybody hold back on the joke. Which Olympics? Where?
No. So like, let me explain something. So y'all know? Let me ask you this: have any of y'all played sports growing up?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in the I was into soccer, and I went to the Olympics.
All right, so we're pretty close to each other.
Well, I mean, it depends. What Olympic game did you go to? Which city and which year did you do it? Maybe we overlapped.
No. So I was gonna explain. So it was an Olympic team. I played in the United States. I didn't go to like Europe
You
and shit.
understand the Olympics are also held in America sometimes, right?
Yeah, I get that, but I've been the overseas. Excuse me, the overseas and the Olympic thing were two completely different things. I was just
I'm just confused. Like, I've had sex with a model, but I've never said that I am a model. So what you're saying is
no
you
right. So
played with an
one of us
Olympic
actually did
team?
one thing, and the other person did. So
I know, but you're saying you played with an Olympic team, not that you wore on an
yeah,
Olympic
so
team.
so I did. Yeah, I did, and that was different from the overseas thing I did. I just said that along with it.
So what does it mean when you say you played with an Olympic team?
Stop.
I played on a soccer team. Well, I'm confused what you're saying.
Well, do you
Yeah,
know?
but you didn't.
I
Go
can't
ahead.
say that I played for the Lakers, but I've played against some Lakers, and I've
See,
played on the same team with the
you guys are
Lakers.
trying to like.
No.
Yeah, it's not.
I see. The thing is, I live in LA. I used to play at Poly Pavilion all the time, and a lot of NBA players used to go there. I ran
I
with
can
a lot of players on the court. I ran with a lot of players on the court. Okay, but I can't say I played with the Lakers just because one or two of the players were on my team when we were running up squads.
Really? That's cool.
No, right. So everybody in the comments saying shit, yeah, just because y'all were shit at the sport y'all played.
You're not making any sense though, Max. Like
Because I
you're
haven't got
I
time to
don't know.
explain.
I don't know why you always go when you feel like someone hurt your feelings. You go to
Nobody
like,
hurt my
oh,
feelings.
wait,
I just
wait, hold on,
it's
Max. I'm still
150 against
speaking.
one.
I'm still speaking.
Go ahead.
Someone hurts your feelings, and you go
Okay.
to personal insults. You did it with Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Her name starts with an M.
Marley.
Mariah. What is
No,
it?
Marley?
Marley.
Marley, there it is. I'm sorry. You did it with Marley earlier. You did it with Magical, and now you're doing it with people in the comments. What is wrong, Max?
Nah, right. So let me explain something real quick. So there's a difference between being understanding and considerate to what I have to say, and there's a difference between being rude, disrespectful, and lying about shit I said. So everybody's saying shit in the comments when I'm addressing that. They low key hating. I know when throwing dirt on my name's happening, so it
Well,
is. I'm not. This is not being sensitive. This is not being anything. I'm defending myself. I'm not a weak
Yeah,
man. You know
not
what I mean?
making
I
any
mean
well,
everybody
yeah,
in
but
this panel already
the issue we're
disagrees with me.
having, Max, is that you're saying things, but then you switch it up when you get a little bit of pushback because you said your words were
Switch it up.
I played in the Olympics, and now it's switched up to I played for an Olympic team, and then it switched up playing. It wasn't at the Olympics, but it was in the United States.
Yeah, it's an Olympic team. Yes.
So you
Okay,
said
so
you
that's
were
not what
in
you
the
said
Olympics.
initially.
Beck said I could say what I said to your face if you want. I bet you wouldn't, but
Great,
Okay,
Max.
Max.
Could you focus on us now? Because you
yeah, my bad.
did you not say initially you played in the Olympics?
I did. I meant to clarify and say I played on an Olympic team. I need literally because everybody knows the Olympics has like the United States, it's Germany, Italy, that type of stuff. I didn't play like
So you played against a team that was in the Olympics. You're saying?
it's. I'm gonna be honest, it's
Which
confusing. If you let me
which
explain it real quick.
Olympic team? The American Olympic team, the French
No, so
Olympic
it was
team.
no, so it was like so when I was younger, it was a big United States soccer thing. It was like It was like the Midwest team, the South teams,
Okay,
the
how
North teams.
many years ago are we talking about?
5 maybe. I might be wrong. 5.
Okay, so at the age of 14, you
Right.
played against an Olympic team.
I played against other United States teams that are Olympic. The team names are Olympic teams. They're excuse me. They're like the best players in the country.
Is this like
No, I
Model
didn't.
UN for soccer?
Is this what?
Is this like Model UN for soccer, where
What's
you
Model
guys
UN?
choose? Yeah. Just like you choose a country to represent, but it's just high school.
No, it wasn't high school. It's literally a state team that has tried. It's not anything
This
to do
is
with high
so
school.
long-winded.
Bro,
This
bro,
is
we
such a
really
long.
need to.
I know it's
I'm
if
not
you
gonna
don't get
lie.
it, it's
Hold on,
confusing
Max.
to
Hold on,
understand.
really fast. I'm not gonna lie. Baby Ken, every twice a year he'll do flag football, and one time it's college, and then the other time it's like the NFL. So, does that mean that like my baby Ken can say that he played for like the Kansas City Chiefs?
Right. So I see
Ew.
you don't understand what I'm talking about. So
Right.
if I could explain it without anybody asking questions, it'd be easy to explain it.
I mean, people
Yeah,
are
So
gonna.
if the
yeah.
women on the
So
panel could be quiet for a moment. Go ahead, Max.
Wow.
what'd you say?
No, go ahead, Max.
All right, bet. So it's within the United States. The team is referred to as the Olympic team. It's your region in which you live. As I said, north, south, east, west, Midwest. You play on that team. It's a select team. They select players. It's tryouts. It's basically the best players in that region. Probably 18 of them. At my age, it was like a 04, 05 team or some shit like that. I just made the 05 cut as I just turned 19. So it's an Olympic program within the United States, if that makes sense, in regards
Can
to
I ask you
soccer.
just
And it's
two
not the
really?
same as high school.
Can I just ask you two really stupid questions?
You're good.
For a team that's playing a game, how many
Alyssa, I
positions?
don't give a fuck if you care. My bad. Go
How
ahead.
many people are on the team
On my team?
actively on the field? How many people are
On the
actively on
field,
a field?
on the field, 11. On the team is like 18.
Okay, great. All
Soccer
right,
team.
so it sounds like you know a little something. What's a
I know
winger?
everything about soccer. You can quiz me anything on soccer. Go ahead.
Okay, what? I just want to test. What's a winger?
Somebody that plays on the wing, on the side of the field. They attack. They're like left wing, like it's like Messi and Ronaldo, just like that.
Okay,
I
great.
mean,
Can you
yeah,
list what the other positions or name any other positions?
yeah. So you have right back, you have center back, left back, defensive mid, center mid, attacking mid,
Okay, so you
striker,
do actually.
goalie.
All right, so you do play soccer. It just sounds like you over exaggerated your skill level and your experience.
No, I definitely under. I definitely
Well, you
am
were never on
definitely
an Olympic
underappreciate what
team,
I.
correct?
What'd you say?
You were never on an Olympic team.
Technically, I was. Yes, I was. I didn't
No,
explain it in the best way, but yes, I
you
was. Within the
definitely,
United States, I was.
you definitely were not on an
No,
Olympic team.
I definitely was. I
Okay,
definitely was.
which Olympics did you go to?
As I said, it's within the United States. It's not the Olympics that everybody knows.
Okay, so it's
As I
not
said,
an
I
Olympic
explained. As
team.
I said, I mean, you could say what you want, but it was called the Olympic team.
Max, I'm
So,
not attacking you. You said you played soccer
I mean,
in the Olympics.
forget that. I was 14. I got invited to play with an academy, a professional team in Spain,
Like
as a freshman with other kids.